All right, here we are on one of the craziest days in a life of crazy. Here we are. Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's nice not to know or not to be exactly sure.
Yeah, that's a privilege, I think. Is this what folks are seeing?
No. So, hi, Angela.
Hi, baby.
How are you?
Sorry. Hi, Dale.
Yeah, can you be professional, please? What are you doing? This isn't just fun and games,
How was your day?
My day was good, all things considered, as they say, or used to say. But yeah, my day was all right. How was your day?
It was good. I stayed off the internet for the most part.
Until shit got crazy.
Yeah, until the eclipse that we just had on Monday started eclipsing. Started doing its thing.
Indeed.
Yeah, weird times. So what are we talking about today?
So many things. I guess, we're going to talk about so many things. We're certainly going to talk about the motion to extend being denied.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited about that. I'm excited about that because...
Yeah, because they've been delaying for like almost a year.
It really just also puts into like question, what's next? Because they're late.
Yeah, and they're trying to prevent discovery, right? Like they're trying to resist turning over evidence. Is there any other way to read that? I mean, they're saying that that the third party that they're using to extract these messages that they're supposed to provide to the court.
Yeah.
They're saying that those people, they had like a technical glitch and that it took some time, but they knew they were supposed to be turning this over for at least a month.
Yeah.
And they knew that they were supposed to be, the discovery process has been so long. So this is only a result of so many other delays. So I'm not surprised that it got denied. Do you want to hear what the judge said about it?
I would love to hear what the judge said about it. Hello, everyone, whoever you are. I sense you. I can feel you.
Okay, so when was this? On the 10th. What day is today?
Today's the
10th. See? I don't even know. The Wayfair parties moved for a 1-week extension of the deadline to produce signal communications for 4 custodians: Melissa Nathan, Steve Sarowitz, Brian Friedman, and Summer Benson. The court directed that the signal communications be produced by September 8th. The Wayfair parties seek an extension until September 15th to produce the signal communications. The motion is denied. And the explanation is a scheduling order is an order just like any other order of the court. A party must show good cause for its modification. In addition, Rule 1D of the court's individual practice in civil cases requires a motion seeking an extension time to be made at least 2 business days prior to the deadline.
And it was not. So I'm saying, like, these guys are asking for it.
I know. The Wayfair party's motion was made on the evening of the day that compliance was required, with no representation that they had attempted to meet and confer with opposing counsel and no explanation why. If the court entered its order on August 27th, 2025, that they could not have moved at an earlier time for an extension. Moreover, the Wayfair parties have offered no good cause for their delay. The signal communications were first sought in request for production served on February 20th. I'm skipping. Plaintiff reiterated that the request on July 16th demanding production within 30 days. Moreover, in a submission on August 11th, the Wayfair parties affirmed that they intended to produce the signal communications. The Wayfair parties assert that to collect signal data, the custodian must surrender his or her telephone to the vendor for approximately 12 to 24 hours, and that travel and business schedules, as well as unanticipated technological difficulties encountered by the third-party vendor in collection and processing, have prevented them from timely completing the processing for the 4 custodians. But this does not amount to a valid excuse for failing to have collected the relevant data, given that the Wayfair parties were on notice of the requests for signal communications in February. And by July 16th, at the very latest, and given that they agreed to produce the communications approximately 1 month ago.
They don't want you to see what is in there.
So the next question becomes like very obviously like what happens if they don't?
They didn't.
They didn't. What happens now?
Yeah, they
if
didn't.
They're ordered to turn this over. What happens now?
There's a bunch of possibilities from my little research. There are a bunch of potential sort of remedies that. So first of all, some things about spoliation. Did we say spoliation yet?
Spoliation.
Spoliation.
What
yeah.
is
So spoliation in the law.
It's a funny word.
Is so I have a little overview of it right here. In a legal context, spoliation is the destruction, alteration, or failure to preserve evidence, such as documents or electronic data, that is relevant to a legal case or reasonably foreseeable future litigation. So that's so interesting because if you remember, Ethan Suplee was threatening the spoliation
Yeah.
of evidence we requested and we never did get.
Right. He said in his deposition, if you ask me for that, I will destroy it. And his lawyers were like, you would be really breaking the law there, buddy. Like, do not do that.
It can be it can be intentional or inadvertent and may result in legal penalties or sanctions against the responsible party, such as the creation of an adverse interference or even adverse judgment. So,
that's interesting.
Yes.
So if they keep fucking around, the judge is going to be like, you don't deserve to win in my court. You're just, because this happens.
Well, it's not. It's worse than that. So let me go over this because there are four consequences of spoliation legally.
Okay.
The first is adverse inferences. So the court may presume that the destroyed evidence would have been unfavorable to the destroyed or withheld or whatever evidence would have been unfavorable to the party responsible for the spoliation.
I've seen that in jury instructions. They're like, if the prosecutor is not bringing a key witness, you can infer that would have damaged their case.
Exactly. Sanctions. So the court can impose, various other penalties, including prohibition of certain arguments. So that's very interesting. So there can be a certain damaging of your own case potentially. It would be weird if those prohibitions weren't relevant to...
I guess the argument would be like, you can't claim that the other side is withholding evidence because you went and did it.
But here's the big part. Or even a full judgment against the spoliator.
So like, because they're not playing ball, they could just lose the game?
We've been talking about a summary judgment.
Yeah, right.
For a long time on this live. We've been talking about it for a long, long time on this.
I know.
I'm
nervous about it. I think she deserves a trial. I think she deserves to prevail in trial.
But the United States taxpayer doesn't deserve to pay for that trial.
I know, it's going to be a circus too.
If these guys aren't even going to hand over evidence.
Right.
So, because part of the real problem that this exposes is the inability to effectively depose the deponents, the defendants, and the witnesses.
That might be the whole objective.
Yes. Yes. So that would be, of course, then obstruction of some way. And if you're going to obstruct, that means that you're withholding or obstructing because what would be forthcoming would lose you the case. So the judge then says, it lost you the case. Like if you can't defend yourself, if you're defenseless in these causes,
it sucks too because Wayfair would love that outcome. I don't believe that they think they're going to win, and I think that they would love to be able to say that it was like a technicality, right? Like that the judge made a ruling and they didn't even get to try their case, or Justin Baldoni never got to defend himself in court, or some shit like that, Like they would love for it to go down like this.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're deliberately sabotaging their trial.
Yes, SC, we'll talk about that. Yeah, totally. Ethical violations. So it constitutes an ethical violation for lawyers and can lead to disciplinary action. So this is the most interesting, well, the second most interesting of all. The most interesting is that Lyman could just wake up in the morning and be like, you know what? That's it. You guys are a wrap. This is a done deal. She wins. We're giving her, she gets the judgment. And obviously... But
what do you mean by disciplinary actions against the lawyers?
So if Brian Friedman was a part of the obstruction of this evidence, right? The spoliation of this evidence, then he can also be held accountable, which we may see because this would be again, in the context of the way he's behaved throughout this entire case.
Yeah.
So what happens to the Baldoni fans, to these people who show up here and they shit all over our lives, and they harass others who try to cover this case. They are just an absolute mess. What happens to them when Judge Lyman throws down a spoliation judgment?
They've already made it clear that they're gonna just say that he's biased and that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds bought him or something.
That's fucking hilarious. I wonder how you can expect to convince.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to sound good. If you are holding out hope that the people who have long been defending Justin Baldoni are gonna see the light because of any of the evidence that comes out,
no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what the fuck are they going to do? Are they going to walk into a wall? Are they just going to bang a brick into their head? What are they going to do? What kind of exercise are they going to have to go through in order to figure out where that energy is going to go?
It's just the same as what happened with the Depp v. Heard trial. The people who believe that she was innocent of the allegations and are going to continue to believe that forever, and the people that believe that he was right to bring that lawsuit and that he was justified, that he should have won, are going to believe that forever. And it's like nobody can ever change each other's minds. I don't think it's going to be the same way. I mean, it's like I have argued with a few of these people online. It's really clarifying. It really helps me organize my shit, right? Because they'll come with questions and I need a direct answer because I know I don't have their attention span for long.
Yeah.
And so it's been useful, but no matter what you show them, you can show them evidence and they'll tell you that it's not.
No, I know.
It's very strange, dude. It's I don't understand.
It's hand-me-down stuff.
So nothing that happens from here on out is going to change that. I don't think she's going to win people over. What we want to happen is consequences for the people who are retaliating.
Yeah.
They the Baldoni fans are really chewing on the gristle of trying to figure out who made that statement, the redacted name of the person who. I think your guess is the best I've heard. Yeah. Here's one thing though. They want to know who said that Justin Baldoni was verbally abusive and then had him kicked off set. They are focused on that. What they're not focused on, which is very strange, and I guess not so strange because it's only in another document that I learned this, that the reason why that person made a declaration was because they were the source of the quote of Steve Sarowitz saying that he was going to make 2 dead bodies out of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. So it has to be somebody that he is so comfortable that he would voice his bloodthirsty fantasies to this person. And I'm like, okay, well, that must be somebody that he knows very closely, that he works with very closely. He's worked with for a long time. It has to be somebody at Wayfair. It has to be. He's never going to say that to somebody on the other side.
No.
He's not going to be that comfortable to say.
No, he won't. He's also not going to be that stupid, despite
rhetoric,
the fact that he might look that way from here.
I know, dude. The rhetoric is violent. So I don't know who he could possibly be saying that to that's not really close to him. So
that statement is, the content of that statement, if true, is so outrageous. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
In really every way. And so, yeah, absolutely.
And it's kind of awful to engage.
That had to be a Wayfair, and so I think it's Liz Plank.
Well, I don't want to name her because the reason why they're trying to name this person, is because they want to target that person in their smear campaign.
Oh.
And so, and obviously they don't fucking deserve that, right?
No.
But they're going to narrow it down because who is close enough to Wayfair to be allowed to remain on set when Justin Baldoni is forbidden from being on set,
and especially in that time frame, which
in August of 2024. Yeah,
because he wasn't on a movie.
Do we know that? I don't know that.
Well, let's go to his IMDb and see what's up.
I know in January 2024 they were at the premiere for Will and Harper because they had some sort of role in that documentary.
I've never looked at this man's IMDb.
If you guys haven't seen Will and Harper, you really should. I'm not a fan of Wayfair Productions for obvious reasons, but that is a sob.
They made that?
They didn't only make it. Obviously, it was a bunch of production companies.
Really? They were in on Will and Grace?
Will and Harper.
Will and Harper?
I guess somehow.
Really?
Yep.
I love that.
Bring your tissues, bro. It's such a great documentary. I loved it. It was wonderful.
last days. Good God, man. Okay.
So this statement that redacted person's name who made a declaration of what they witnessed.
Yes.
We don't know much about what they said, but we know that it happened August 2024 after the premiere.
Yeah. The last thing, I'm sorry to interrupt. The last thing he did was it ends with us, and he has nothing pending.
Okay, listen. The Man Enough podcast
was going
ended in August of 2024.
That would be the only other set, which they did shoot. They've filmed that.
But he never would have been forbidden to be on the set of his own podcast. Nobody would even ask that. Everybody else would walk off. It's his podcast.
Well,
so that doesn't make any sense either.
What set could it be?
Look at us. Doing the thing that I'm like criticizing them for doing. I'm like, you don't have to identify somebody. The name is going to be revealed like when it's supposed to be, you know? It's
I'll tell you why.
It's
I'll tell you why
it's under seal in court. Like we shouldn't be trying to sleuth it out, you know?
I'll tell you why. It's because fucking people lie to us every minute of the day. It's because we spend most of our time being lied to face to face or through fucking media. And we want proof. We want to know if
that's true.
If there's something really real going on here. Because I don't know what's real anymore. I mean, you know, with the outrage that was happening today, you were like, is this AI?
Oh yeah, I know. You have to fucking question everything, bro.
It was the first thing in your mouth was this AI? It turned out not to be.
Yeah. I'm more interested in who was behind the I guess I know that. The Reddit post on the Colleen Hoover subreddit in August 2024, you know?
Yeah.
The one that said that they predicted that Blake Lively was going to go to the New York Times. And we talked about this yesterday, and I really like my little theory. It wasn't a prediction, but it was a fear.
Yeah.
That Melissa Nathan was like, oh, Megan Twohey at the New York Times fucking burned me that, you know, with that last smear campaign I did. And I'm ramping up to do another smear campaign. And so New York Times is top of mind.
I make my share of grammatical errors.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. More than anybody.
You don't really.
Melissa Nathan, bad grammar. That's all I got to say.
She has bad grammar?
Yeah. Hey, I'm on Justin Baldoni's.
Can I talk about that?
IMDb, yeah. Her bad grammar?
No, I want to talk about Jennifer Abel has this really interesting tell. Every single time. She says it every time. She says, part of me wants to, and then whatever comes after that is like her scheming and lying. Part of me wants to.
Yeah.
It's like she recognizes, maybe subliminally, maybe subconsciously, that there is a divide within her, and her conscious is trying to override, because she always says, you know, let's do this, or you know, part of me wants to do this other thing. And what she always proposes after part of me wants to is like some nasty fucking lying shit. And so I just think it's so funny. She says it like 4 times in the evidence. It's just such a tell.
Justin Baldoni, he has like he won 33 times in his career. Something. He won something. 33. He has 33 awards. Here are some: Best Supporting Actor, TV, Best Kiss, nomination. He didn't win, I don't think. Choice Lip Lock. He got that one.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you this. Choice Lip Lock again.
He must have been so confused that Blake Lively didn't want to kiss him. He was like, I'm an award-winning kisser. But dude, what you're telling me though, what you're describing is the promise of having Jupiter in your 5th house. I'm telling you, dude, anything this guy does, he's like any creative pursuit, any creative self-expression, he's just going to fucking keep winning. It's going to be good luck.
I want to get nominated for lip locking.
There's still time, babe.
Is there?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm out of time.
You gotta, I have to help though. It's not like you can't just go and do it with some other award winner.
I feel like that one went down with my professional athlete aspirations.
Maybe. The chat is buzzing.
We haven't said hi to people though, and we should.
I know, because everybody poured
here,
in.
Alicia's here. Cosmic Urgency's here. Our scientist is here. Foz is here. What's up, Foz? Foz comes in late for us, man. You gotta give love to the Foz. The Junk Farm is here. And Alyssa. Oh, Alyssa. I was thinking about her. It's so weird. I think about these people. I was thinking about her yesterday.
Yeah, what about?
And remember I was thinking about like Dr. Susan, and then she was like, who shall I think of next?
To conjure them?
Yeah. Hello, all of you. So good to see you. SC, of course, is here.
Oh, the junk farm. This is really interesting. Let me share this with you, Dale.
And Fellbombing is here, of course. Did you see the Fellbombing's first comment?
No.
Dale eats baby orphans.
Oh yeah, I did. I skipped it though because we don't need that kind of.
It's super funny.
We don't need that kind of conspiracy theory about Dale.
Yeah, can you imagine if that actually? I guess there might be actual people out there who eat baby orphans. Eat them. I don't know.
These are weird times, and they're getting weirder.
So true.
They're getting weirder every day.
Absolutely don't know what's going to happen next.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the knock on my door. Mr. Wheatley, come with us, please.
Listen, the junk farm said this very interesting thing. My theory is that the Wayfarer parties would rather have spoliation than a RICO charge. This entire smear is to keep...
Holy shit.
Listen, this entire smear is to keep Steve Sarowitz out of jail if it goes criminal.
Oh my fucking God.
Criminal?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about this.
The junk farm said, because this is an old school mafia protection racket. What?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Tell me.
This is fucking very interesting.
Full disclosure, like this is tinfoil hat time.
It's very simple. The evidence
we're not making allegations.
The evidence that they're withholding incriminates them.
Oh, in other stuff.
In this, or even worse, like they're committing fraud. Whatever.
God.
A RICO charge. So that's
dude,
fucking interesting.
What's interesting about that is that Shane Norman was suing them for fraud. Because what he did was he hired a bunch of people in this one Wayfarer organization, and then he closed that one and opened another one. And so maybe it was like employment fraud.
I fucking love this.
He's a billionaire because of HR, HR software, right? So maybe he's like in a whole thing.
Dude, this lines up in ways that as soon as you start like thinking about it, it lines up in so many ways. Because when you think about their approach to this whole case, which was this public smear that they tried to put so much pressure on, they tried to break her. They tried to fucking break her.
Okay. I'm following you.
They're trying to withhold this evidence. They tried to get her to snap and settle. Friedman doesn't even have any actual litigation experience. His experience is all in discovery.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. I was like, none of this really resonated with me because there's so much evidence. I think she could win the case tomorrow for sure.
For sure.
Except with Steve Sarowitz, because they have that quote where he's obviously, he's obviously attacking her verbally.
Yeah, but they're all repped by the same guy, so it doesn't matter.
No, but what I'm saying is
like, they're all guilty because they all chose to be repped together.
And remember when they said that when they were accounting for all of the discovery, Steve Sarowitz had the least. So I think you're right. I think that Brian Friedman is trying to protect Steve Sarowitz from having to provide any discovery.
He's the guy not turning it over. You make a problem, news story against Baldoni, and then charge for fixing it. Oh my God. Well, what's interesting about that though, because now you're getting into,
that?
well, this is, the junk farm again.
Okay.
But now look.
That's great.
The problem is that why would they get repped with them then? Why would they get jointly repped with Baldoni and?
Because he's the money bags. They don't want to pay for it.
No. Let me try to be more clear then.
Okay.
If they're, what the junk farm is saying is that they, Melissa, Nathan, and Jennifer Abel created a problem for them to have to solve through them.
Oh yeah, like
racketeering. That's pure racketeering, right?
Oh really? All this is over my head. This like racketeering.
I mean, that's straight up racketeering. That's like that's just such a mob turn.
I guess you'll have to explain to me later because I feel a little slow.
Well, I mean, if I create a problem for you, it's like me walking in. The old school example of it is when the mobster in the movie walks in and breaks everything in the store.
No, I understand.
And then says, "Well, I can help. I can stop this from happening in the future.
Yeah, right.
Here's my card. It's blah 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 security."
Yeah, well, that's. I've long been saying I didn't know that this was a racketeering thing, or RICO fucking whatever. I don't know anything about that stuff, but I have been saying for a really long time.
RICO to you is a handsome.
Rico.
Caramel-colored man.
Suave.
Dancing sweatily in the night.
Listen.
Yeah.
Melissa Nathan, when Justin Baldoni showed her the draft letter that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds drafted right after the premiere, just like a couple weeks after or whatever, that was saying, hey, Justin Baldoni, like, and we know, everybody knows who's behind the scenes knows that the cast did not want to walk with you and you agreed to that. And I'm getting all this like public pushback about it. So why don't you just put out a statement that said, I fully recognize that that's what happened and I'm man enough to admit it, whatever, Mm-hmm. And when Justin Baldoni took that to Melissa Nathan, she said, you need to lawyer up and you need to fight this,
Right.
which benefits Melissa Nathan directly. She's the crisis manager. So
I
if
get
he
it.
gets further into a crisis, she benefits.
But
So are you saying that choice, that action of hers is RICO shit?
No, so the junk farm brings up a great point, which is that the idea that they created a problem for their clients to have to solve through them.
Melissa Nathan.
Yes, which would be the definition of racketeering. The problem with it is, sorry, the problem with it is that they're jointly repped by Brian Friedman. So it doesn't, but I think that there might be a deeper level of racketeering going on that they have uncovered or whatever. Because unless the only way that this would make sense is that they went and they joined up with Friedman, did Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel, and then they were like, guys, here's the truth. Here's the truth. We made it all fucking up for all yous. It's just how we do business. And
who's saying
this is Abel Nathan confessing to Friedman,
to Brian Friedman.
Yep, and Baldoni and all them, and they say, "Look, you're fucked. You have to go down this road with us now."
Oh, okay.
Like maybe it's because because otherwise they get. I don't know. That wouldn't make any sense because again, it would give Baldoni a great out, which would be to
listen. I don't believe that she is a very
sever.
Smart business person. I don't believe that she has a very good grasp of the long game. Otherwise, she wouldn't be in this mess.
Yes.
So it's possible, dude. Any of that shit is possible. I think that she's a big fucking dummy, and I think that's why Stephanie Jones was trying to warn her clients to stay away from her.
Look, if it's not RICO, I think they're trying to avoid exposure in some way that's major. Like, look, it can just be the evidence that proves her claims.
It could just be that Steve Sarowitz said some really fucking incriminating shit.
Yeah.
And they don't want anybody to know about that because they're trying to protect the money.
Right.
But here's another thing
it's
too.
not just protect the money. They don't want. It's also the reputation. Like maybe spoliation. Their fucking careers are done, dude. I just read to you that Justin Baldoni, right? He has fuck all going on. Let's go to fucking Ryan Reynolds. You know, that's fair. One. Ryan Reynolds. He's the
comparable one would be Blake Lively.
Well, we're gonna do both. Let's see what he's got going on. Oh, so let me see. Up and coming 9 projects. So Baldoni had none, and Ryan Reynolds has 9. Okay.
Well, Baldoni's just spending time with his family. So
I know. I'm not judging. Blake Lively with 2 Ks, because that's how I roll. No, my keyboard, man, I guess got to ungum it or something.
It's like a...
She has 4 upcoming projects. So, so 13 between them. And Justin Baldoni has none. Maybe they know, and they must. They fucked over every studio. They're fucking over every studio.
And the insurance companies.
Everything that has gone down, like even if it's out of their control, right? Like, I lit a fire to burn down a house. I ended up burning down a town. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If they ended up burning down town, they just ended up burning town. They're still the ones that lit the fire.
I know, but here's the thing too, is like, I don't know why Steve Sarowitz is so worried about it because he's a billionaire. He'll be fine. Like there's literally no consequences for billionaires. What could they possibly do to them? He's not going to go to jail for it. So it's going to be like a fine. He's going to have to pay money. He's going to have to pay damages, treble damages even. Why does he care? Like there's no consequences for these people.
No.
And that's, I think, so it's not a very strong argument that like he's trying to avoid accountability because it doesn't really matter to him, right? If he's that wealthy, he's fucking untouchable. Who cares?
Well,
so I guess he's just playing the game.
It's not about untouchable because it's still about like, look, if you to use the same scenario, if you burn down a billionaire's house, the house still burned down, even if he's got enough money or she's got enough money to rebuild it 4 times.
Right.
And refurnish it and do all that. So it's not like they can't take damage, and that certainly matters reputationally. That certainly matters potentially with property, for example. It ends with us. I think the quote from Steve Sarowitz is, "I'll do whatever I have to protect the studio."
Yes, I know, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting because those words are just going to be used against him. Like, I just can't believe that they were so foolish to not just keep it's so strange that somebody is a billionaire and they're stupid enough to talk like that. Like, I don't know why it's not just, better to just be, close your mouth. The prudent thing to do, if you were Steve Sarowitz and you had you were smart about anything, is that you would find the best mediation service in the entire state.
Of course.
And you would fly them all down and you'd put them out and make everybody super comfortable. Like fucking little tea sandwiches, fucking paid you, $3,000 to be here today only.
A little swag bag when you get in there.
A little swag bag.
Is this a Rolex?
Exactly.
Is this a real Rolex?
Just get everybody together and be like, we are trying to put all of this behind us. How can we reach a settlement that is beneficial to everyone? That's what you do when you're a millionaire, when you got all this fuck you money. And he should have never let the word Lively or Reynolds escape his fucking mouth, because that's what you do when you have fuck you money and you don't have to care about any of this stuff. It's so strange that he behaved that way, that he was like, I will destroy them. Like, no, bro, you should just go swim in your fucking pool full of money like Scrooge McDuck and forget this ever even happened. You're fucking
bathe in it.
Exactly. $1,000 bills, scrubbing
it on your hair.
Exactly, dude. I can't believe he let it bother him enough to be that loose-lipped, and now there's all fucking evidence in a court, dumbass.
By the way, I had such a bad hair day today that if I showed people my hair, and I won't, they would change their opinion of me.
You'd get unsubscribers.
You said your hair is really messed up because I went out, I showered, I went out, I walked the dog, I had a hat, some headphones on, whatever.
Yeah.
Did a long walk, jog with the dog or whatever.
Yeah, it was fun.
Got home, didn't check. You said that. Then I got to the mirror, and I was like, wow, she loves me.
Oh, yeah, me?
Because
yeah.
it's just awful.
No, I thought it was cute.
Anyway.
Yeah, you look like one of those 1990s alt rocker kids with the hair gel and the little spikes all over your hair in all different directions.
Exactly. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for hanging out with us, and don't forget to like the live. It really does help.
Oh, yeah.
At least that's what I'm told. I haven't noticed anything, actually.
Okay, you told SE.
By the way, I didn't say hello to Delicate.
Oh, hello.
She's here. Yeah.
You said to SE.
Yes.
SC.
SC.
That you would address the question.
Yeah,
I'm
what was
pose
the
it to you
question
now.
again? Sorry.
Are you guys going to touch on Perez hoping his case would be thrown because Wayfair submitted documents with his communications? I would think that they need to compare discovery.
Yeah, there's no way that would satisfy Lively. Meaning that they got the discovery from somebody else. They also wouldn't rely on the discovery that they got as being full and complete. And they wouldn't also rely on that discovery being, I guess full and complete would probably be it because it was limited to those parties. So my guess is, and they also, I guess that they don't know that Perez Hilton's correspondence was necessarily limited. See, here's the thing. Perez Hilton may not know what they have, right? I remember when I was a kid, I was raised in a fucking crazy world. And when I was 12 years old, I did a B&E. And
what?
A breaking and enter. I was out playing with my brother and a bunch of our friends. And we came upon this building that looked like the door was open. And then one of our friends kicked the door and it flew open. And then we went in and we proceeded to steal things because the door flew open. And we got caught and arrested at 12 years old. We were put in different rooms. And the cop came in and told me that my brother told on me.
Typical
but
cop
he didn't.
story.
That my brother didn't.
Yeah.
But
and then they told your brother that you told on him, right?
Of course they did.
Yeah.
So we came out of there obviously hating each other, but also having confessed our crimes.
Okay. And so you're saying that Perez Hilton is getting tricked?
Yeah.
By the cops?
Yeah, more or less. I'm saying that, no, what I'm saying is that he doesn't know what she has. He may think he knows what she has.
Yeah, right.
They're not going to hold up their hand and say...
Also, he's not party to the case, so he's not entitled to see anything. He's just being subpoenaed. So they're just like, no, we just need you to provide information. You don't get any information from us.
Now, there also might be some other issues with it. I mean, obviously, he speaks to Brian Friedman because that's his attorney.
Perez Hilton?
Yes.
No.
Perez Hilton was represented by...
in the
Brian
past.
Friedman. Yeah.
You think he still does?
Well, I don't know, but we know that.
No, that's true. That's really interesting. I'd forgotten about that. Perez Hilton, Megyn Kelly, and I think Billy Bush were all represented by Brian Friedman. I might be wrong about Billy Bush.
I think you're right.
The company you keep, man.
I do give him some credit, Perez, for being capable of changing his name and becoming this thing. It's really weird. It's like Angeline. Remember Angeline?
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, there was this big-bosomed blonde is the best way to describe her. Am I not right? She was in a very tight, like almost corset tight, like pink, almost, what do you call that, vinyl
Yeah.
outfit.
Yeah.
She had a pink Corvette that she drove around Los Angeles, and I spotted her several times.
She was like a if Betty Boop was living the Barbie beach like dream house type life.
That's right.
With like her pink convertible, and she was just like, but she was built like Betty Boop. It was amazing. Yeah, she was an icon. She was just like one of the first people that was famous.
She was in one of the big movies. Like I can't remember which one, but I think
she was because
yes.
I thought
she wasn't. Let me finish. It was like she was in one of these like her billboard was.
Yes.
Like it was in one of these end of the world ones
Yeah,
where one of the Angeline
yeah.
billboards, because her billboards were plastered all over town.
She was one of the very first people that was famous for being famous.
Yeah.
I guess not. That probably happened like since the beginning of time, that people were famous for being famous, you know?
So
like,
just to confirm, Perez Hilton was represented by Brian Friedman, but claims that he was not being represented at the time that the Blake Lively suit hit. That doesn't mean that they're not in communication, and that doesn't mean that they don't have a relationship
that's why he's
be
subpoenaed.
forthcoming.
Yeah.
So it would seem to me, though, that in sort of a delicate situation, a sensitive situation as this, that Brian Friedman is probably far too ethical to want to pick up the phone and call Perez and be like, hey, this is what we gave her, so you know. Like, he would never do anything like that because he's a very ethical man.
Yeah, everything's just above board.
He's always above board, that Brian Friedman.
Yeah.
Really does things by the book, too, you know. By the way, have you seen Blake Lively's website about the lawsuit?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
That's weird.
They don't do it by the book, I guess.
And we should look for that.
Yeah. Bobo's here.
How's it going?
Bobo is here. Angeline didn't publish upskirt pictures of Billy Ray's kid, though. Oh, my God. Who did that?
Perez Hilton, bro. That's why he got
Did he?
canceled in the first place.
Really?
Yeah, well, everybody was like,
God,
yeah,
I fucking learned things about people. It was like this is like the Andy Signor in the mirror thing. God. Whew.
It was one of the reasons why he, like, his star as a celebrity gossip columnist fell, because he was really exploiting, the fucking 90s was like a war zone for like young female celebrities.
Unbelievable.
And he just really contributed to that.
Just for females in general. But it hasn't changed much, obviously. Oh, my God. So crazy. So, yeah, Perez Hilton. What was the question? It was, Perez Hilton... what was the question?
The question is, are you guys going to touch on Perez hoping his case would be thrown because Wayfair submitted documents with his communications?
Yeah, I mean,
I would think they need to compare discovery. And you're saying that that's normal, that they have to compare discovery?
For sure.
Well, that's the thing, too. One of the allegations early on was that Blake Lively was doctoring text messages. Remember, Brian Friedman did his press tour where he was talking about cherry-picked text messages?
The accusation that they were cherry-picking.
Yeah, well, that was fucking projection, because people have been comparing the evidence, and it turns out that the Wayfair parties have been editing their text messages to omit some things. And so, of course, Blake Lively is not going to just believe what she's saying from one side, you know? Yeah, they're going to corroborate it.
It's part of the reason why I don't want to open up my depositions for the Leo case, for the DiCaprio case, because I feel like contextually, the only way to open them up is to open them all the way up. To do it properly, you say, here they are. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're ruled on, in which case then you could say, okay, well, here's the ruled on ones, which is, cleaned out at least to some degree. Obviously, any redactments about privacy issues would be taken care of, but I'm talking about just testimony itself. I would want to just put all of them out and allow people to glean what they
listen to the podcast of them.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it eventually. We are, especially when we get the fucking videos.
I know. I'm like, I have the whole thing like halfway finished, planned.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Fellbaumling said they've moved to Ryan. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have. We covered this the other day.
The guy can't give to charity without getting accused of wrongdoing. This campaign might go on forever too.
Did you see the way he helped that old lady across the street? What a fucking loser.
He just did it for He was
Fucking
just
photo op.
virtue signaling.
Photo op, and then somebody points out, no, she fell down and he was there, so he helped her up.
So he pushed her?
No, he fucking pushed her is what fucking happened, or he had somebody go push her.
The junk farm said, I mean, it's not normal to get sued by your own publicist and 5 insurance companies.
No, it's not normal.
That's why you're saying that they're done.
It's also not normal to start a company. Like, litigations happen, copyright, these kinds of things, they do happen in business. You know, Taylor Swift, I think, is in the middle of a lawsuit from somebody claiming that she borrowed from her lyrics or poems or something.
Is that current? I mean, that's happening now?
I think it's still happening. I think so. The last I checked, she was, in this litigation for this accusation, which to me is like whatever, because like the idea that she might have taken a phrase out of a poem and put it in her own work, to me would be fair use. But hey, I'll let them argue about that.
Yeah.
That's not the point. The point is that litigations happen, they occur. But to have the kind of litigations that Wayfair, in particular, Justin Baldoni, has faced
so many
in just 5 years.
Yeah.
To have Greg Norman? No, that's the golfer.
Shane Norman.
Yeah. Greg Norman, do you know who that is?
No.
He's a golfer from down under.
I don't know.
He has a shark as his. He's a down under guy. I actually did that pretty good.
You did.
Greg Norman's lawsuit, which is discrimination, retaliation, among other causes.
Yeah, and the fraud too that he was accusing them of.
A fraud, and then you have Mr. Flores, Travis Flores, and the 3 feet distance lawsuit, which is just a terrible lawsuit on its face. And in that lawsuit, there's just so much suspicion of corruption because you have Brian Friedman representing this poor kid who's dying. And you're really blowing my story up.
I'm totally blowing it. She's snoring and it's really loud. Should I wake her up?
Well, if it would allow us to continue the podcast.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure it was being picked up in the mic. She was doing she was like sawing wood over here. Our dog. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. If you don't look at me like that.
The absolutely not funniest thing I was
No,
saying.
I know. Okay. We all...
She kicked the dog. I watched her do it. She kicked the dog.
I nudged her. It didn't work. She's still asleep.
Okay. I don't know what I was saying.
You were talking about Travis Flores and how we wish that he had a better time.
No, what I was saying was the suspicion around Brian Friedman repping this kid who's dying,
yes,
who doesn't have a future and who doesn't have anything in the pot. This
is like an underreported scandal that Travis Flores, his surviving family, says that he didn't want to settle, but Brian Friedman settled his case with Justin Baldoni.
Yeah.
And then after Travis Flores was out of the picture,
meaning deceased.
Yes, that he
put that billionaire in his back pocket.
That he was like,
Brian Friedman met a guy who was worth $1 billion while suing him with a guy who was worth nothing.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure you guys get what you need. The defense.
I believe.
And my plaintiff is going to fucking eat it.
There's no reason to believe that Travis Flores got fairly represented in that situation.
No, he does not believe it. Nobody believes it.
Yeah.
Did I step on you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was having a good time. I didn't realize.
Party on. No, guilty Angela did not kick the dog. Angela is a lover of dogs.
She didn't even wake up. She's still sleeping.
No. She is unconscious from sleeping.
Erica said, I don't understand how everything Blake Lively has ever done is proof she's a terrible person, but everything he has ever done before is not true and never happened.
Well, what's even crazier about that is that the things that she has done are bullshit, like flaws, like to try and, whether it's the wardrobe garbage, that she brought the budget over. Like, no, she didn't. And if she did, the budget was over by a couple $100,000 in a $26 million movie. Like, absolutely zero-body cares about that. Nobody cares about that. They're just using that as a means to harm this woman. We're talking about Justin Baldoni being accused of some heinous shit versus, Blake Lively sitting in a forum for women talking about how she found that men didn't like the idea of a woman showing up on the set
with ambition
as one thing,
yeah,
and then showing ambition for another.
Yeah.
And so she thought, well, the best thing I need to be then is forthright
Yeah.
so that everyone knows what my position is, and went on to say that even if it meant losing the work in the first place, it was well worth it, knowing that she would be well respected and given the opportunities that she believed she deserved in the first
And
place.
evidently she practiced what she preached, because in Justin Baldoni's own documents, he talks about how when she was onboarded, that she negotiated for a producer credit. So she was very forthright that that's what she wanted.
And then there's the plantation wedding, which I understand the outrage around it. I felt some myself. It's a mistake. It's not a statement about her beliefs. It was a beautiful venue. I promise you that every single one of us, if we were to walk onto that property without knowing any of its history whatsoever, or not considering any of its history, would find it breathtaking. We know this because they shot one of the most romantic movies ever made, The Notebook, there.
I went onto the website for that venue, the Plantation, and it had been voted in 2018 as Southern Living's best wedding venue.
Of course. Dina saying, explain her exploiting Taylor Swift. So here's how it works. And I know this, by the way, just so to qualify this, Dina, my name's Dale Wheatley. I wrote and produced a movie called Dawn's Plum with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire were both my friends. I was a part of a clique of friends back then that later became known as the P Posse. But back then we were just a group of friends like any other, where we, hung around and drank and partied and whatever else. And we together decided that we were going to make a movie. It was a favor from Leonardo DiCaprio really to all of his friends. So when you talk about explaining the exploitation of Taylor Swift, I don't think Taylor Swift was exploited ever. I think Taylor Swift voluntarily provided that song. I think that she did so because she believes in her friend, Blake Lively. This is my speculation. But to say that she's taken advantage of, Taylor Swift literally went on the biggest tour in the history of pop music and raised enough money to buy $360 million worth of her music back. Like, she's not going to get exploited, dude. Like, this woman has total control. If you haven't noticed, this woman has total control of her life in every possible way.
And her property.
And her property. She does not fuck around with it. And in fact, on this live, we've talked at length about what it actually meant for Blake Lively to be able to bring such an asset to the production. And that is why she was deserved of her PGA credit in the first place. Any producer, any human being, if you walk into Hollywood tomorrow and you can bring the kind of weight that Taylor Swift brings, and how do we know that Taylor Swift is that huge? Tears Ricochet is on that trailer. That trailer did 100 million views overnight. And I think you would agree with me saying that it wasn't Blake Lively that got those views. That the property, It Ends With Us, the book, that Blake Lively and that Taylor Swift as a trinity came together to create over 100 million views in 24 hours, and then what was later an eventual fucking sensation, a $26 million budget movie earning $350 or whatever it was million dollars in the box office. So the attachment of Taylor Swift was genius.
And
it was perfect producing.
I can't ignore how much of a diversion it is from like the actual story that people are talking about Blake Lively exploiting Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so weird.
Because check this out. So Blake Lively was, at that time that this controversy over the song was happening, she was enriching Wayfarer's project.
So
immensely.
Exponentially.
Sony was so thrilled to have the work that she was doing and the assets that she was attaching to Wayfarer's project, right? So who's exploiting who, right? Did Wayfarer exploit that work? Because I know that Jamie Heath tried to prevent her from getting a PGA credit.
Yeah.
I know that Jamie Heath was continuing to try and prevent her from getting a producer's credit when she was doing all of that work to enrich his property to make them wealthier. Yeah. Some fucking thanks to her for all that work.
It's the craziest thing. It's the craziest fumble I ever saw.
And so I just feel like it's repeatedly I keep seeing these examples of projection, right? Is she exploiting her friend, or is she the one being exploited in this situation? I feel like she did a lot of work that Sony was really grateful for. In Blake Lively's amended complaint, she includes a bunch of text messages from Sony executives and Sony producers, overjoyed, so grateful for the work that she did to help make their launch a success.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it would have been out of I don't think it wouldn't have been reasonable if Jamie Heath hadn't extended the same kind of gratitude for all of the success that she brought to his project. Jamie Heath, Justin Baldoni, Steve Sarowitz, Wayfarer entirely.
Let me tell you that it is not, in my experience, it is not uncommon for people in Hollywood to bring their powerful friends to bear in legitimate productions. It happens all the time. It's how Tobey Maguire ended up in The Great Gatsby. It's how I had a friend named Brian Klugman. He now is that whole new T-Mobile campaign. That's all him, and he owns the company and all this other stuff. But he began as a writer in Hollywood, and he got his big break. Really, his big break in Hollywood when his friend, with whom he went to school and grew up with, Bradley Cooper, agreed to do his movie The Words, which he had written independently as a spec script way back in the 90s.
No, it's true.
I gave him notes on it.
You're only as good as your network in that industry.
Yeah, so it's very common in my experience for people who know each other, especially famous people, to lend a helping hand to their friends who are, coming up. And certainly Taylor Swift would have recognized the writing on the wall as this being an incredibly powerful producer move to bring arguably the biggest living pop star to bear.
No, and you were saying before that you can't buy that song.
You can't buy it. Well, that's a
like
great
nobody
point.
would have been able to obtain it if it wasn't for a personal connection like that.
When I made Dawn's Plum, we had a Fuji song, and it was like a real deep track, like track 25 on the score, right?
Yeah, like B-side shit.
It's called Mr. Mista, and you should listen to it. It's a dope ass song. We put it in. We inquired for the publishing. And we thought this was going to be easy because it wasn't any of the hits at all. It was, like I said, super deep track. I don't even know if people listen to it because if you listen to that album goes deep. It's got like 30 tracks on it or some shit. It's like a long ass record. And the response from the publisher was like, no, dude, this is Led Zeppelin, bro. They're not for sale. And by Led Zeppelin, it meant like that in the 90s, you could not get Led Zeppelin for anything.
Yeah.
You could not get the Beatles for anything. You could not get the Doors for fucking anything.
Yeah, now they're selling their songs for
car commercials. They've retired
and shit.
their things. They're selling their libraries off. Like Bob Dylan just signed his library off. That's a mosquito.
Get it, bro.
Like, I'm gonna cost. And so, getting Taylor Swift's song had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with exploitation. That had everything to do with a friendship coming to bear in a moment that where that friend, the recipient of the favor, had an opportunity to rise to an occasion.
Oh, and not for nothing, but that was what she was making good on the promise with that fucking Dragons text. At the end of that Dragons text, she literally says, and they benefit, we all benefit from my dragons, and you will benefit too. She said, they can be your dragons too, to Baldoni. Yes. Now, he evidently eventually turned it into a fucking threat. I don't know whether he sincerely thought it was at the time, but it was so clear that she was like, I have these big heavyweights in the industry.
The number of times I would have spun for joy.
I would have reoriented my entire life to make sure I didn't fuck that up.
I would have made a hole up to my knees.
Dude, Baldoni's a fucking career guy, and Blake Lively is telling him that she has these fucking dragons that are going to fucking help him out. She's very clear about it. They'll be to your benefit too. And so she brought that to bear with the fucking Taylor Swift song.
Yeah. And I have an explanation of why they might have thought to do that. And it's because, in my opinion, they got too big for their britches. And by big for their britches, I mean, they landed a billionaire. And when you land a billionaire in Hollywood, Hollywood acts as if you're the biggest thing that ever happened in Hollywood.
Yeah, of course.
They present you to everybody else as a major player, as a major powerhouse. Everyone in Hollywood, near somebody who has an attached billionaire to their production company, is going to try to extract from that situation. They are going to try to set up their property in that situation. So, and that includes major studios, because major studios are always looking for somebody to help share the risk. It's a part, they're beholden to stockholders. So if they can turn around and figure out the math to create a great marketing strategy that they think will win, if they can mitigate those risks by bringing on a wayfarer, some outside party, it behooves the studio in a big way.
Behooves.
So, should I not use that word? It's not the greatest
word. It's a really funny word.
It's got hoof in it, so it's not.
No, I like it.
Hooves. You're just out to sabotage all my speeches.
What do you mean? I'm not a saboteur.
You're a saboteur.
You can't call me that.
Guilty Angels thinks that The Notebook is highly overrated. I agree. Still considered a very mushy romantic movie that people love.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No.
How many tiny pineapples does it get?
I'd have to see it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't just throw them around. They're tiny pineapples. They're precious.
You could get hurt by something like that. The Junk Farm has a really interesting theory about who that sealed name is.
Santa Claus?
The person that got verbally abused by Baldoni and then said that
Jack
he was
the Pumpkin King.
Jack the Pumpkin King. That's it. Ding, ding, ding. The Junk Farm said that guy got Baldoni banned from Sony. I think it's an executive at Sony. Do you think that Steve Sarowitz would feel so comfortable to talk with an executive at Sony?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, look, billionaires are their own. They have their own.
Do you think Steve Sarowitz would be like, I am going to create dead bodies out of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds?
I don't.
To an executive at Sony?
I think that would be highly unlikely.
Really?
Yes.
Right, because that's not just like
unless they had an established relationship that would have room for that kind of thing.
Right.
But if that was like again, this is why I think that it's probably Liz Plank. I don't mind saying her name because I don't really think anyone's listening. So we have 8 people here. We're okay. We're okay. The reason why I think it's Liz Plank is because of the information, the timing. There's only really one set that I could think of that he would go to. When you look at his IMDb, it's the only one that makes sense. Also that he would be able to be banned from. And yeah, you can get banned from your own set for sure, particularly if it got so contentious that there were shaking hands. Because then there's the dust that settles afterwards, which was her eventual resignation and how they were going to resign. See, the other thing is that a lot of whether it's corporate America or Hollywood, when you're up in the high ranks of something, resignations are handled. They're not usually, unless they're provoked by things like cheating on your wife in public at Coldplay song, Coldplay
at
concerts.
a Coldplay concert.
Yeah, like those are things where things might happen instantaneously.
Yeah.
And even he probably got a really nice package to leave. They negotiate these things. They're fucking handled. They're not just like instantaneous. So it makes sense to me that would happen. He'd get banned. They would dissolve the show. So it'd be like, hey, you can't come back here. And they'd be like, this is my show. No, it's not, because it's not a show. It's over.
That would be interesting, because what else would provoke Baldoni to verbally abuse somebody? I would have
tickling.
I would have and when they know he's ticklish.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You can't.
Stop. Did you see, remember we watched that tickling competition thing? It was
that was weird. It tickled the documentary is what we watched. It's a weird one. Anyway, I'm saying that would be, I would have very harsh words for my fucking coworker if they started to,
for sure,
if they fucking ruined my podcast after everything that I've just recently been through, starting a smear campaign and everything. That's hard work.
For sure. And also her reputation. I mean, a massive reputation on the line. Like, she's sitting there like, for all intents and purposes, she's endorsing
really
this path that these men were on.
Yeah. Her book is titled For the Love of Men, and it's about feminism to benefit men in society.
Yeah.
So she was a perfect fit for them.
How feminism benefits men?
Yes.
Or how men use feminism to benefit men?
No. How, if we had, if we were a more feminism directed society, that it would benefit young boys and men. And that's true, like, why is it sissy stuff to enjoy collecting flowers? Because that's girl stuff, right? It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
That's an oppression on men.
Yes.
Yeah.
The John Farm says, I also thought maybe it was Isabella Ferrar because of how they wanted to get rid of all of her testimony.
Yeah, but see, it's really interesting to qualify each one of these
what
names.
Set? You have to go to what set?
Yeah, right. So
the question is what set?
What set? Who would Steve Sarowitz be that comfortable with to his rhetoric is bloodthirsty, bro.
Yeah.
He is really exposing himself. He's gonna feel super comfortable with whoever this was a fucking bro of his.
Back to the first question of what set. It has to be a set that he's attached to.
That he's attached to.
That he is attached to.
That he would be on the set to be
required
working.
to be on.
That he has to get banned from.
In August there were 2. Well, there wasn't 2. There was 1.
Yeah.
And that was his podcast.
And it was after the premiere, so that's another qualifier.
And it would be after the premiere.
Who knows, man? Could be anybody. I mean, we're guessing. It could be somebody completely different.
The band broke up. We know that.
And like Liz Plank is like, why the fuck am I in this?
It is, I just like, I'm going to mention it every time we do a live because we get some new people around and I love them to hear it, man. It's the biggest fumble of all time. I've never seen a fumble so fucking severe as this. And that Blake Lively built Golden Bridge after Golden Bridge for this motherfucker, Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer's fumble. Steve Sarowitz apparently, unhinged, saying things like, he'll do anything to protect the studio except the right thing. Yeah. Like, accept the fucking right thing.
Yeah.
All you had to do was the right thing. And they were presented with multiple opportunities to do it. From the first complaint, that was the first opportunity to just fucking hit the stop sign right there. Hit the fucking, whoa, pause. Let's get this fucking straight. Because you know what's on the line.
Dude, he made
you have a fucking one of the biggest best-selling IPs.
Yep.
You've got a fucking A-list actor attached. You've got Sony Studios, 104-year-old major fucking studio, publicly traded, all in your fucking basket.
Steve Sarowitz also made his billions in HR processing software. So like it's not like he's ignorant to the responsibilities.
And by the way, when you say that, it like says, oh, what does that mean? Well, it usually means that the regulations are uploaded into different databases, probably regionally specific databases. So you'll be able to, like, if you're operating business in several different states, you'd be able to go to those different states to observe compliance and maybe even have some kind of interaction with the software itself to record compliance. So yeah, you would think that his software would have been able to have the CRD in there with all the fucking shit that they needed, especially when the first complaint came up. But the fact that they didn't take that first complaint, even without it, like, okay, look, I wouldn't have run to the CRD because I didn't know it existed until this fucking case happened. CRD is news to me. So if I was running a company, and I have run companies in fucking LA, if I was running a company, I haven't run one that got a complaint, but if one did, and one could have, if one did, my immediate response wouldn't have been to run to the CRD because I didn't know it existed. It would have been to shut everything down in terms of procedurally, to figure out what fucking happened first. What happened? Where is the culpability? Right? Then do whatever is appropriate to those culpable, and then institute policy immediately, and then make sure that policy awareness is understood everywhere. Right? And the reason I would have done that is because I've had a couple of corporate jobs where I had to go in and I had to watch the videos and fill out the fucking forms and put the fucking check marks and pass it. And then the company's like, okay, so Dale knows not to harass people
but
at the refrigerator.
You also know as a producer in filmmaking that if there's a conflict on your set, it reverberates. It affects the fucking product, right? Like, you can't have like a festering conflict on your set and have it not affect anything else.
So it's hubris, it's stupidity, it's some kind of defiance or some kind of push back against the norm. We've heard Justin Baldoni himself in interviews and other declarations about like his sort of hatred, or I don't know what to call it, his judgment of Hollywood, how bad a place it really is. You've heard this, right? Remember this? You don't recall?
I don't recall where.
Yeah. So he has said in the past that Hollywood, it's particular to this occasion as well, that Hollywood is some kind of, sort of shifty place. I think there's like he had a certain amount of contempt for Hollywood.
Was that in his bookstore interview?
It might have been.
He was doing a bunch of press around the premiere.
Yeah, and he was just talking shit about Hollywood. And I was like, this motherfucker is talking shit about the industry that he's using to elevate his name, brand, and
you
finances.
can tell that he's got this disdain for Sony too, and it's like, well, you're happy to take Sony money, but you don't want to play by Sony rules. It's fucking weird.
It doesn't work that way. Was it contempt for Sony, or was it just I can't figure these fucking guys out. So then you've got that he doesn't fucking take care of the original problems. The first one was his first opportunity to make this thing fucking perfect. And then there was the other complaint, and then the complaint after that. So we know of at least 3. All 3 complaints, and that's just, the ones that were brought to his attention.
Those are the ones that
he has to know then that there's a problem.
What you're referring to, just in case anybody isn't following, Justin Baldoni admits to at least 3 in the first month of his filming. So there was like one in pre-production where it was the complaint about him asking her personal trainer for her weight.
Yes.
And then on set it was the sexy comment. And then Jamie Heath came to her trailer to address
4, but yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Heath came to her trailer to address the sexy comment and like try and figure out what they can do. And then he went and did another SH by looking directly at her nudity after he was nude, after he was told to turn away. And then there was the whole scenario with the birthing scene, which was very uncomfortable. But Justin Baldoni does admit that the next day Jamie Heath showed her the birthing video. So he doesn't necessarily address the controversy with the birthing scene, but he does recognize that nobody asked for Blake Lively's permission before they just walked over with a cell phone and the video in her face.
We've digressed from my point, which is, that these are the opportunities that this person had, that all of them have had throughout that process to make things right, to change direction, to stop these things from happening. But instead, they just kept compounding the problem until she finally said, I'm not coming back on set until these 17 things are met. Then, and only then, were they fucking well behaved. They got the 17-point document. And at that point, I believe he knew it had gone too far. And here's the thing, man. You can't expect people who are who believe that they're being mistreated. You can't expect people to keep their mouths shut if they're continuing to feel that way. If they're continuing to feel the toxicity of the work environment that you've created, then you're not going to get somebody coming out of that situation unmotivated to do something about it.
It's just a really shitty way to run a fucking business, dude.
It's so stupid. It's the biggest fumble ever.
Especially this like collaborative art form where he has to, this is his scene partner. He could have fucked it completely up and like not gotten the performance he needs from her. And he wouldn't have been able to fix it because he screwed up their relationship.
And then he had his best chance yet. And that was the statement that allegedly was prepared by either Lively and or Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I know. That was totally an olive branch that he should have fucking taken. That was so very obviously a draft. Like it wasn't even proofread. There were a bunch of errors in there. So he could have very easily taken it to, a publicist that actually cared about his well-being, like fucking Stephanie Jones or anybody else, and been like, hey, draft this to make me look good. And then when he brought it back to Blake Lively
make me look better.
Okay.
It's a bad spot, right?
And then when he brought it back to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, if then they refused to be on board with his new draft, then he could have easily made them look like the asshole. But instead, they offered him an olive branch, and he was like, fuck you, I'm lawyering up because Melissa Nathan said so. Yeah. And the rest is history. No, now he's losing in fucking court.
Instead, he went to war when he had the opportunity to build a golden bridge.
That's right.
A perfect golden bridge.
Build your opponents a golden bridge to retreat across so that they'd save face by not doing battle with you, and everybody wins.
It's the most egregious fumble of good fortune I've ever seen in my life. And, I've seen some people fall in Hollywood, whether it was from drugs or, I remember an actor who worked with John Candy. I won't name him, but I was friends with this guy who worked with John Candy, who was, and it will always be one of my great idols in show business.
Oh, yeah. Unanimously beloved. I don't think anybody has a bad thing to say
as a Canadian too, like the guy just is everything to me, Yeah. And so this guy I knew in Hollywood, he worked with John Candy, and he was like a name. Like everybody knew who he was. He was gonna be big, but he was a dick. He treated everybody like shit.
Who? This guy that you're not naming?
This guy, yeah. This guy just treated everybody like shit, and he got discarded. It happened. They just got rid of him.
Yep.
It's just how it's just like it's just the biggest fumble. Like that was a big fumble. Like this guy, I was just thinking about all the big fumbles I've seen in my life. Yeah. And this one was like major to me too. Cause this guy had it. He had a paved way.
Yeah, that's massive.
To like, he was going to be, if he wasn't going to be like a big giant star, he was going to be like a friend on Friends. You know what I mean? He was going to be that big. He was going to like have that opportunity in his life.
He screwed up.
And now he's just struggling to try and get shorts made. And he's living off of residuals that he's been living off of for the last 30 fucking years. Great guy, by the way. He totally changed.
He did?
Yeah, he totally flushed his toy. And he and I,
Were you gonna say he flushed his toilet?
he flushed his career down the toilet. He and I had we had a mutual person with whom we worked, and that person basically just laid it out for him and was like, "You fucked the whole thing up. You messed your whole career up.
Oh my God.
I told you not to do this and you did it. I told you not to say this and you said it. You fucked the whole thing up." Just laid it on the line and said, "This is what you did. You created your own mess." And this dude turned his life around.
What?
And he never got the career that he was promised in terms of the work he put in. But that never changed him. He became one of, I liked him back in the day, but he became exponentially better as a human being.
Good for him. That's crazy.
It fixed him.
What's his explanation for being such a dick? He was just stressed out.
I think that, I never spoke with him about it specifically, but if I were to speculate, I would say that I think he saw.
Did he feel pushed around or something?
No, I think he just saw the light. I think he saw that he had treated people so terribly.
No. My question is, why was he treating people terribly? Did he?
Because of privilege, because he just took the privilege of being this big, up and coming actor, and he was just treating people.
Success to him meant pushing people around?
It led to it.
Yeah. That's a type for sure.
Changed his life. He's not anywhere near that anymore. And I just think it's fascinating personally.
That's so funny because you always hear the myth of, the addict that hits rock bottom. And then sometimes you hear about that actually happening to people.
Yeah. You do.
But, unfortunately they have to lose everything.
Oh, I know it.
Foz was with us and has left, but is saying that two content creators have said that the unnamed person is Blake. But Blake would not be making a declaration in her own lawsuit. That's impossible.
Future Foz, I don't think that's the way that went.
Would never happen.
No.
So Foz is saying, I think that's been fed to them to smear her again. Oh, of course. They're like, no, guys, don't figure out who it is. It's Blake. You hate Blake. We hate Blake. We just want you to hate Blake. That's so interesting that they would be trying to redirect.
Yeah.
Hey, so we have spent an hour and 12 minutes on this topic. I know you want to bring up other things. I also was intending today to read some more of the motion for treble damages because it is so fucking juicy. But tonight, I don't think I'm going to get to it.
Why?
Because we're just going to run out of time after you. I want to talk about some of these other things that you brought.
Okay.
Do you think we should segue now or not?
Well, are we done with chat?
No, there's so many. I don't think I could ever catch up.
Well, let's get some of them in. We're community-based live around here.
Yes, I know. Let's see.
I like hearing from people, especially we got some really cool new folks. Our regulars are killing it. It's just a good live chat.
Cosmic Urgency, of course, said, "Hi, so Angela, was a Wednesday early with her prediction of a major event?" We are in the eclipse window. An eclipse has just happened.
Yeah.
An eclipse just happened in Pisces with Saturn is at the anaretic degree, which is very much like a springboard, like a jumping off, like spring-loaded kind of. And Saturn is a very malefic character. And so the eclipse just happened, co-present with that energy in Pisces. And that just happened this week. And so now is just after the eclipse. And the effects of an eclipse, usually they interpret it as big beginnings, sudden endings, basically the fates take over and flip the tables. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you're not supposed to use this energy for anything. Sometimes people try to do manifesting or whatever during the eclipse. Astrologers that know about the shit are do not. Really, everybody just needs to lay low. But the effects of the eclipse are usually felt within 6 weeks of the eclipse.
Well, they're within that
a
window.
week before and then trailing after.
Yeah, exactly. It's all inclusive.
I think that earlier today I was just walking through the house and I was like, it's so weird that it's such a fiery eclipse situation and it's such a slow news day. So strange.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So
That's the craziest news day we'll probably get in years.
I don't know about the psychic predictions because I'm obviously following them, but I'm not sharing them because, whatever. I'm not trying to be known as like the super woo-woo character in the world. But I think that the eclipse is a good match for what the hell is going on. Anywho, that's my breakdown. That's my astrological breakdown for today.
By the way, on that crazy news, they have a person of interest, apparently.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do or if they're just trying to make one up real quick. Okay. A scientist is saying, this is back to the Baldoni Lively coverage.
Okay.
There's also a possibility that that redacted person that is one of many posts that were seeded to be pulled out whenever Lively went public. The ones with different publications were deleted. Oh, okay. Is this about something else? There's also a possibility that it was one of the many posts that were seeded to be pulled out whenever Lively went public. The ones with different publications were deleted. Do you know what that's about?
Maybe I think you're talking about that excerpt, the idea that it might be Lively who is the...
Maybe. Also, it was that might be in reference to how I mentioned that Reddit post. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't understand. Lots of people are asking about today's big news in the chat, but we have chosen to sit on our hands.
The only thing I'll say about it is it's a crazy time to be alive. And it's even crazier when you jump on the internet and you can come across something so utterly horrific.
Yeah, I found this today. This guy, Organizer Memes on Twitter said, I think it's probably bad for our brains to continuously see every bad thing happening on Earth within minutes of it happening.
Yeah.
It's just a little bewildering. And then I found this other guy who was, I felt like this was pretty great. At Jim Stewartson on Twitter said, I just want to let you know that it's okay to feel what you're feeling right now. It's perfectly natural, and there is no reason to feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
And I think that I just feel very strongly that there are entirely too many people on the internet that are jumping to the opportunity to try and craft how people feel about things.
Yeah, like obviously this guy is a super controversial guy, so he's going to have his enemies, and his enemies are going to feel one way about it compared to, say, those who were his followers. So it's obviously going to be a different bag for whatever side of the fence you are on with this guy. I have no comment.
The thing that I don't want to be is one of those people on the internet that is trying to tell everybody how to feel about stuff. I think that weird shit is going to happen, and we're all going to feel really fucking weird feelings about it, and I'm not going to participate in trying to help you guys, steer you one way or the other. So I'm just going to sit on my hands about it, if that's okay.
It's perfectly okay. I need to jump off for a minute. Will you maybe read from that document?
Yes.
Well, I'll be right back.
Well, I wanted to read from the document so that you would comment on it.
Okay. Well, I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can set it up maybe.
Okay.
You're up.
Foz said, I heard someone else say this, that Jen Abel is trying to fix it. Let's see. Okay. So let's go to this filing. I haven't been alone on here before, I don't think. Let me find this. Hold music. We're going to put you guys on the hold music for a second. I'm going to find this document of the treble damages. Okay, this is Blake Lively's motion for attorney's fees, treble damages, and punitive damages under California Civil Code. I read that I think it was on Monday that I read the introduction to all of this, and it is really juicy. Like, they are definitely trying to stick it to the Wayfair parties and the attorneys. But what I thought was really interesting was there's a ton of information here that they've sort of like compiled the case in their facts section in this memorandum. And this is what I wanted to read. I guess I'll just get started without him. Okay, so the first section is the Wayfair parties openly discuss their intent to retaliate against Miss Lively. And they're saying that she is entitled to treble damages because they are retaliating against her for making protected claims of harassment. So before and during this litigation, the Wayfarer parties have repeatedly made clear their intent to retaliate against Miss Lively, including by weaponizing the legal system. As Miss Lively alleged in the complaint, that plan was backed by virtually unlimited resources. Wayfarer's co-founder, co-chairman, and leading financier is multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz, who divulged to a witness, and this is the document that is redacted. This person is under seal, but that is why this person is, why this information has come out, because this is the person that witnessed this. Wayfarer's co-founder, co-chairman, and lead financier is multi-billionaire Steve Sarowitz, who divulged to a witness at the film's New York premiere on August 6th, 2024, that he was prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. Okay, I screwed that up. So that was at the premiere. And then this next quote, this is later in August 2024. That's what that document is about, that declaration. Later in August 2024, even though the film had turned out very well and Wayfarer had made a lot of money on it, Mr. Sarowitz confessed to another witness, an individual who was working with Wayfarer on an unrelated project, that if Miss Lively or Miss Reynolds ever cross the line, ever, then I will go after them. He declared, I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas. There were 39,000 dead bodies. There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, minimum. Not dead, but you're dead to me. So that kind of dead, but dead to a lot of people. If they ever get me to that point, then I'll make it worth their while, because I'm going to spend a lot of money to make sure the studio is protected. That is so insane. In the footnote about that, it said, in unsealed portions of her deposition transcript filed with the court, Miss Lively testified that she not only felt that the lawsuit and Mr. Friedman's conduct was retaliatory, but that Mr. Sarowitz's dead bodies threat, on the heels of his pledge to spend $100 million to ruin her life, left her concerned for her physical safety and, as a mother, for that of her family. That is nuts. Okay. And after Miss Lively brought suit here, the Wayfarer parties, through their attorney Brian Friedman, reconfirmed their intent to sue Miss Lively and others, in quotes, into oblivion. This is, according to Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman says he's going to sue Blake Lively into oblivion soon. This is Megan Kelly, January 7th, 2025. And thus the court need look no further than the Wayfarer party's own statements to confirm their intent to retaliate against Miss Lively for reporting sexual harassment and retaliation, including by filing their now dismissed claims. The show really isn't as fun without Dale here. Okay, this next section. This is about how the Wayfarer parties begin seeding their false litigation narrative the day after Miss Lively files her CRD complaint and then file frivolous claims. Miss Lively filed a verified administration complaint before the California Civil Rights Department on December 20th, 2024, but the very next day, in the wee hours of the morning after Wayfarer parties had been served cease and desist letters along with a copy of the CRD complaint, Mr. Friedman, in his capacity as counsel for the Wayfarer parties, provided an inflammatory statement to TMZ. The statement accused Miss Lively of lying in the CRD complaint, called it shameful, in quotes, and declaring her allegations, in quotes, completely false, outrageous, and intentionally salacious with an intent to publicly hurt, as part of, in quotes, yet another attempt to fix her negative reputation that he claimed she brought on herself. This is according to, read the statement to the New York Times from Brian Friedman, attorney for Justin Baldoni. That was December 21st, 2024. On December 31st, 2024, Miss Lively initiated this action, filing her original complaint in this court. Later that same day, the Wayfarer party sued the New York Times in LA Superior Court based wholly on its reporting regarding Miss Lively's CRD complaint. Then on January 16th, the Wayfarer parties filed a retaliatory defamation lawsuit against Miss Lively directly in this court, claiming that Miss Lively had defamed them by accusing them of engaging in sexual harassment and conducting a retaliatory digital manipulation campaign against her. Also roping in her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan, and Miss Sloan's company as defendants. On January 31st, barely 2 weeks after filing her initial complaints in the court and 11 weeks before the deadline to file a motion to amend, the Wayfarer parties filed a 391-page first amended complaint, including a 168-page narrative, Exhibit A. That was the timeline document. And those are the two things that got published on that website. They asserted 9 causes of action against Miss Lively and the other defendants, this time adding the New York Times as a defendant. Each Wayfarer party asserted 7 causes of action against Miss Lively, including civil extortion, intentional interference with contractual relations, although they never provided that contract, intentional interference with prospective economic advantage, negligent interference with prospective economic advantage. Both of those were what Dale's producers sued Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire for in the 90s. And then breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. Okay. Let's see. There was also false light. Skipping a little. With one exception, the false light claim, each cause of action was asserted by all the Wayfarer parties against Miss Lively. This lawsuit was accompanied by a creation of a website called thelawsuitinfo.com, on which the Wayfarer parties placed only the complaint and its rambling Exhibit A restyled as a timeline of relevant events for easy public access. There was no legal purpose whatsoever for this website. I thought that was super interesting when I read it. There was no legal purpose whatsoever for this website, because I saw it and I thought like, oh, that's very unusual. I've never seen anything like this with with an active lawsuit. It's always like, internet sleuths like compiling something like this after the fact. There was no legal purpose whatsoever for Baldoni's website, which recently obtained discovery confirms was purely a blunt public relations tool against Miss Lively. Indeed, in a contemporaneous Signal group chat in February 2025, there is a lot of redacted stuff that something we can't hear about. Welcome back. This is all redacted. We don't know what it says. Do you want to? Yes, desperately. Do you want to roll back and hear everything I said?
Yeah.
And comment on it?
Yeah, I'll just rewind. Well, I did hear his ranting. Just what animal is this guy? Like, what kind of human being is this guy?
Sarowitz?
That he would compare something as atrocious as what's going on in the Middle East with Israel and with the Palestinians. And
I know. I noticed that.
Try to draw that into like it did seem as though like somebody like was like, what the fuck did you just say?
Oh my God, I know. It's so hilarious. Like, you could see the turn.
Yeah.
His declaration to them, okay? It goes, if Lively or Reynolds ever cross the line ever, then I will go after them. I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas. There were 39,000 dead bodies. There will be 2 dead bodies when I'm done, minimum. But then there's a turn.
Somebody raised their eyebrows.
He looked at somebody in the face and saw their expression.
Yeah.
And he immediately continues. He goes, not dead, but you're dead to me. So that kind of dead. But dead to a lot of people.
I'm not saying
if they ever get me to that
person
point,
that would do
dead
that.
to a lot of people. If they ever get me to that point, then I'll make it worth their while. Because I'm going to spend a lot of money to make sure the studio is protected. Like, he definitely walked that statement back.
That's a lot of fucking madness right there.
I also thought it was really weird. Like, you pointed this out to me when Friedman had used the word taken hostage to talk about the trailer. Right? That like Blake Lively had taken this trailer hostage. And that was like earlier in the year where everybody was talking about like literal hostages.
No, the whole thing was between the two warring nations.
I was like, how the fuck are you writing that?
Yeah.
Like that, why are you using, okay, you're hyperbolic, whatever, like we get it. But like, why are you using that language?
It's
so very insensitive.
So insensitive. I mean, the world is like because it was a metaphor and it was an awful one.
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
awful.
Like, she was not holding it hostage. And also he showed evidence to support that claim. And the evidence was Sony saying, so Blake has agreed to do the everything you guys want with the trailer. So she was like, it was the opposite of her holding it
Eric
hostage.
is wondering if the studio means Sony or Wayfarer. By studio, what does he mean? Meaning to protect the studio, he means
Wayfarer. Yeah, he's not going to protect Sony. He doesn't.
No.
That's not his.
No, he wouldn't give a shit about Sony. I mean, beyond the work they do for him.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Now that you're back?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing that I pointed out here while you were gone was that they said that there was no legal purpose whatsoever for Baldoni's website.
No legal. No, of course there was. We know that.
It's interesting to see it stated.
Absolutely nobody does that. No lawyer puts their client's case on a website before discovery.
No, I know, because it gets you telegraph all of your plans.
Nothing's ruled on.
Nothing's ruled on. Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's why their side, Lively's side, was trying to point out that this was more like an attempt to spoil the jury pool, because he's literally putting out evidence that has no fucking ruling on it. I mean, clearly they're going to object to some of that, if not all of it.
Okay, the next one.
Yeah.
Ms. Lively moves to dismiss the First Amendment complaint, and the Wayfarer parties repeatedly refuse to withdraw their deficient claims. Okay, so on March 20th, 2025, Ms. Lively filed her successful motion to dismiss all the claims asserted in their complaint on the grounds that, among other things, the complaint was based on statements protected by the fair report privilege with the New York Times,
Right.
the litigation privilege, and Section 47.1. As to Section 47.1, Ms. Lively argued that her allegedly defamatory statements were communications made by an individual without malice regarding an incident of sexual assault, harassment, or discrimination. And so that is protected by the California Civil Code. Thereafter, on April 23rd, Ms. Lively served Mr. Sarowitz, Mr. Heath, Ms. Nathan, Ms. Abel, and It Ends With Us Movie LLC with letters under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure, also called the Safe Harbor letters, demanding that, among other things, Ms. Sarowitz, Ms. Nathan, Ms. Abel, and It Ends With Us withdraw their civil extortion claims, that all Rule 11 plaintiffs withdraw their interference claims, that Sarowitz, Nathan, Abel, and Heath withdraw their implied covenant claims. The Safe Harbor letters indicated that if the plaintiffs, through their counsel, failed to withdraw these claims within the 24-day Safe Harbor period, that Ms. Lively would seek sanctions from the court. So she's basically like, I'm notifying you guys right now that you're in violation of the law, and you have 21 days to withdraw those claims to not violate the law, because now you've been informed of it. And if you don't, then I'll come and get you.
And they were like, fuck you. Come get me.
Then Ms. Lively would seek sanctions from the court.
They're like, you don't have to be a billionaire to fight a billionaire. You just have to be a millionaire. If you're a good, solid millionaire.
You have to be a comfortable
Ryan Reynolds
millionaire,
reportedly made like $80 million or some shit last year.
What? Really?
Yeah, 80 million. Well, he owns fucking soccer teams.
Damn,
and
bro.
Mint Mobile. And yeah, he's trying to become a billionaire, obviously. I don't know why anyone has that goddamn ambition. It's like, I want to walk on gold. Whatever.
What's the fucking time in a day to do all that stuff?
Jesus Christ, bro. I just want to like make a good breakfast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
Read a book,
Fuck yeah. Like they have a staff, like lots of staff everywhere.
Okay, cool. So in response to Miss Lively's, the motion, the plaintiffs did not even attempt to stand behind their claims on the merits. Instead, they argued, in essence, that the court should ignore the requirements imposed by the rule, and that parties and counsel submit pleadings that are brought in good faith and instead merely dismiss any deficient claims under the Federal Rule of Civil Procedure. So she's like, you guys have been doing shenanigans from the start.
Shenanigans, I tell you.
Should I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel deflated. Ever since you left, we haven't reclaimed our vigor.
Vigor.
See, the problem is, Dale, you got moxie. You understand?
Moxie.
And so when you're not around,
And the moxie left.
there's no moxie.
I'm bringing the moxie.
Okay, so because the court granted Miss Lively's motion to dismiss in the First Amendment complaint, she's like, okay, well, all of this is valid then, because the court determined that it was frivolous, that lawsuit should be thrown out. So I'm just going to skip ahead to this part. In granting the parallel motions to dismiss, the court did, however, rule that the Wayfarer parties failed to plead actual malice on the part of Mr. Reynolds, Ms. Sloan, and the New York Times, finding that the Wayfarer parties failed to allege facts that could have caused the defendants to doubt Ms. Lively's account. This is bullet points. In concluding that the Wayfarer parties failed to allege actual malice as to Ms. Sloan, the court held that the Wayfarer parties failed to make allegations suggesting Lively's account was inaccurate, or that Sloan would have had reason to believe Lively was being duplicitous, and thus Ms. Sloan had no duty to investigate Ms. Lively's claims. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Next one is in holding the Wayfarer parties in holding that the Wayfarer parties failed to allege actual malice as to Mr. Reynolds. The court held that the amended complaint does not provide any reason Reynolds would have doubted Lively's version of events. And then the same thing with the
like you're gonna believe your wife.
Yeah.
Maybe. Most times.
In rejecting the Wayfarer parties' conspiracy arguments, the court stated the Wayfarer parties' conclusory. This is from the court's ruling. The Wayfarer parties' conclusory allegations that Lively, Reynolds, and Sloan engaged in a conspiracy to defame the Wayfarer parties by disseminating knowingly false statements cannot substitute for factual allegations supporting a plausible inference that this occurred. They're like, you can't just claim conspiracy without any evidence of a conspiracy. Like, I don't know what they were after. I guess they were just trying to waste time from the beginning. The court also found that there to be sufficient evidence of a smear campaign to defeat the Wayfarer party's defamation claim against the New York Times. So the New York Times reported on a smear campaign, and the court found that, yes, there appears to have been a smear campaign. Yeah.
Well, at least, I mean, the court is going to look for evidence that would at least put it into question. So they're not going to judge it. You know, it's not a super high standard. There has to be like indications of a potential for misconduct, and then they're gonna move forward.
So the court held, okay, this is a quote from the previous rulings. The CRD complaint and the article contain numerous messages and documents that strongly suggesting the Wayfarer parties did spread negative stories about Lively. And this is what makes me crazy, because the court has already ruled on this stuff. This is why you and I are talking about a summary judgment, because the court has already ruled in these motions to dismiss, you know. The New York Times got their case dismissed against them, you know?
Yeah.
Because of this. That the messages and documents strongly suggested the Wayfarer parties did spread negative stories about Blake Lively. Also, the Wayfarer party's statements regarding sending negative content to digital and Wallace's attempts to shine a spotlight on Blake and Ryan. These are inexplicable unless the Wayfarer parties were spreading negative content about Lively. There it is.
I mean, I just don't understand how these guys are going to be anything other than fucking shit out of luck.
I know. And this impression is reinforced by messages from Baldoni, Abel, and Nathan suggesting this strategy. It is fair. This is the court's ruling. It is fair to presume that the Wayfarer parties did what they said that they planned to do. Those messages are what is contained in the article and referenced in the video. A reader of those messages would have little doubt that the Wayfarer parties engaged in a smear campaign. Unless, of course, you're like a fan of Baldoni and like you doubt everything. But when I read those messages, I agree with the court's ruling on this, that a reader of those messages would have little doubt that the Wayfarer parties engaged in a smear campaign. It's very fucking clear. Okay.
It is.
Some messages relied on.
I can't believe that anybody doesn't see it. I truly cannot believe it.
This is quoting like previous court rulings too, and we're still like debating this shit as if the court hasn't already ruled on it. Some bizarre. Messages relied on by the Wayfarer parties for the claim that they are not engaging in negative messaging regarding Lively and Reynolds can in fact be read to imply the opposite. A message from Baldoni to Nathan about protecting myself, in quotes, asked, in quotes, "So do we say Blake and Ryan hire Harvey Weinstein publicist?" To which Nathan responds, in quotes, "That's a conversation I'm going to have with Jen and Jamie today." This implies that Baldoni and Nathan at least considered spreading a negative story regarding Lively's choice of Leslie Sloan as her publicist. In addition, the Wayfarer parties emphasized text between TAG team members stating, in quotes, "We didn't tell Jed to go after the idea that her promo was inappropriate. That happened organically." This is interesting. Because they're talking about that as an isolated statement.
Yes.
Okay. We didn't tell Jed to go after the idea that her promo was inappropriate. That happened organically. But these texts can be read to imply that Tag did tell Wallace to go after Lively on other issues. If Wallace never spread anything negative about Lively, it is unclear why the Tag team members would feel the need to note that Wallace did not spread this particular piece of negative publicity about Lively. The Times may have otherwise parroted the breathless smear campaign narrative of Lively's complaint, but it had evidence to support that narrative. Given the strength of the evidence in favor of a smear campaign, again, this is still the court's ruling, it is not plausible that the Times entertained serious doubts as to the truth of the smear campaign narrative as a whole, even if, for whatever reason, it misrepresented one particular set of messages in aid of that narrative. So this is back to Lively's lawyers. Finally, in denying leave to amend the Wayfarer party's defamation claim, the court held that the Wayfarer parties, this is a quote, the Wayfarer parties do not identify any particular factual allegations that could be added to support the defamation or civil extortion claims, nor is it plausible that any allegations not yet mentioned would change the basic substance of Lively's threats, the conclusion that the CRD complaint was privileged, or the conclusion that relevant statements were made without actual malice. So, there you have it.
So
there's more, but I feel like I'm soloing this a little too much. So do you want to segue to something you want to talk about?
No, we can continue talking about it. Don't be self-conscious.
Would you like to participate?
We all enjoy. Well, yeah, you were reading, so it was hard to interject so much. Where to begin? I don't even know where to begin. I'll tell you. This is interesting though. Delicate says that this makes me feel even stronger that Taylor and Blake took their friendship offline if she was fearing for her family.
Oh, fucking of course. Of course they're going to be like, clam up about everything because they don't want this target put on other people's backs. I even think like if you take fear and you put that aside and you just say, hey, like who needs to take the heat? Like why should Taylor Swift be taking blows for Blake Lively's problem when it's unnecessary? Yeah. They don't need to put their friendship on display today. It's unnecessary that Ryan Reynolds got fucking dragged into this.
But at least it's like her husband. So there's he did have. I mean, again, married to Blake Lively, obviously, but also he wrote the scene, and so there's some dabblings at least.
Yes, I know.
I don't disagree with you.
He is relevant for Baldoni's claims in a lawsuit that got dismissed for lack of evidence. So in that way he's relevant, but he's not relevant in any of the claims that Blake Lively has made and that Baldoni is supposed to defend himself against.
Totally agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's already.
I'm talking about them dragging others in.
Yeah.
Not so much her perspective.
The next part is about Brian Friedman being bad.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah. Another thing too is Mr. Friedman accused Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds of being, in quotes, cowardly. He claimed that Miss Lively is, in quotes, abusing our legal system. He called Miss Lively's conduct, quotes, shameful and bullying.
Yeah.
And even more unthinkable, accused Miss Lively of, in quotes, devastating the entirety of the domestic violence community by lodging the allegations.
Wow.
I know. Mr. Friedman's persistent character attacks on Miss Lively also resulted in a separate motion seeking sanctions under Rule 3.6 for exposing the public and the jury pool to his prejudicial and inflammatory pre-trial indictments of Miss Lively's character, credibility, and reputation. On May 8th, as this court knows, Mr. Friedman went so far as to suggest that he would take Miss Lively's deposition at Madison Square Garden, charging tickets for admission to attend, and live stream the testimony for the world to watch. He then filed 2 letters and an affidavit with the court making allegations against Miss Lively and her counsel that were so improper that they were stricken from the record. Following the court's order dismissing all of the Wayfarer party's claims.
That was Interdepot?
Huh?
Interdepot?
No. He filed 2 letters and an affidavit with the court making allegations against Miss Lively and her counsel that saying that this was about them extorting Taylor Swift, remember? Where they were saying that they had threatened Taylor Swift and that the lawyers were in on it or the lawyers were being improper or something. And he wanted sanctions for that. But he just made up the whole thing.
By the way, I think
that the ruling on that was that he was using the court as a publicity arm, you know?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
No, I can't. It's fine. Go ahead.
Following the court's order dismissing all of the Wayfarer party's claims, Mr. Friedman thanked the internet sleuth community who continue to cover the case, effectively pouring gasoline on the already blazing media frenzy and encouraging the same type of online trolling that got the Wayfarer party sued in the first place. And just last month on August 1st, the Wayfarer parties and Mr. Friedman's firm filed under seal the entire uncertified draft. This is about her deposition where they filed it and then they created this controversy about her trying to get it unfiled when they expected that to happen. We know all about that. That was recent.
Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Lively's allegedly defamatory statements are privileged under the law, which mandates fees and damages awarded. I'm going to skip that part. Ms. Lively's alleged defamatory statements are communications protected. This is just about... in fact, the Wayfarer parties conceded as much in their opposition to Ms. Lively's motion to dismiss. They confirmed that their claims arose from statements that Ms. Lively made in legal filings about Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath's sexual harassing behavior as the Wayfarer party's retaliatory campaign against her in retaliation for reporting the same. Indeed, each and every factual statement that their complaint identified as false or defamatory relates to an incident of sexual assault, harassment, or discrimination experienced by Ms. Lively at the hands of her director, producer, or employers under these several California Civil Code laws.
So fucked up, man.
I know, they're going to fucking lose this, dude.
I mean, I think a summary judgment is coming. Remember that it's also the judge's fiduciary duty to the taxpayer, you know? The taxpayer should not be burdened with a case that is overwhelmingly in the plaintiff's favor or the defendant's, whichever.
Yeah, here's another thing that I think that a lot of people are not talking about enough about her complaints and how they weren't necessary. It didn't have to be. A lot of people are saying that her complaints don't qualify or something because they weren't formally submitted or whatever.
Which is not requirement.
It's not required.
You don't even have to report them. No,
I know. So this is about Ms. Lively had a reasonable basis to file her complaints. Okay, finally, to be protected by Section 47(1), which gives her treble damages, the speaker need only have, or at any time had, a reasonable basis to file a complaint of sexual assault, harassment, or discrimination, whether the complaint is or was filed or not. That's according to the California Civil Code. In other words, the privilege under Section 47...
In other words, knowing the law is a good idea before you open your fucking mouth.
If you're a lawyer, right.
Yeah.
In other words, the privilege under Section 47(1) attaches regardless of whether a complaint is ever filed and no matter to whom the communication is published. As the California legislature explained when they made this law, the protections would apply to individuals who, after relaying any factual statement, whether in the form of a formal complaint or a statement outside a formal proceeding, such as to the media outlet, if they're sued for defamation. Indeed, the statute was enacted in large part to address defamation claims filed against harassment victims based upon statements made to the press. It is self-evident that Ms. Lively had a more than reasonable basis to report her workplace concerns during production and to file her complaints both with the CRD and this court, and the complaint provides no plausible basis to conclude otherwise. As set forth, the Wayfarer parties admit much of the misconduct that occurred on set, and this is true, in their own filing.
Sorry.
He said he apologized a bunch of times and was really fucking irritated that she didn't just move on.
I said I was sorry.
I know. The court need look no further than its own docket to further confirm such findings. The Wayfarer parties' attempt to recast Ms. Lively's claims as false and defamatory entirely failed. All the Wayfarer parties' claims against Ms. Lively have now been dismissed with prejudice or abandoned. Ms. Lively is therefore a prevailing defendant under the law, and as such, she is entitled to her attorney's fees and costs, treble damages, and punitive damages.
Sweet.
I know, dude.
I can't wait to hear this one.
I know, she's skipping all the rest. Or sorry, I was reading about Lively. I'm skipping through the rest of this stuff. This is a lot of explanation. And then the last thing, the court should set a schedule for promptly quantifying these monetary rewards. This is interesting. So the court should set a schedule for promptly quantifying the monetary award to which Ms. Lively is entitled well in advance of the March 2026 trial on her case. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Because I just assumed when I read about this that they were just going to be giving it as jury instructions, that the jury would be able to just decide and they would know that this law is on the table. And like, so if you award her damages, then we're also going to just triple them.
So attorney's fees.
Yeah, right. With instructions from the judge, right? But no, this is apparently for the court to rule on well in advance. to quantify the monetary award. In these circumstances, the rule provides the appropriate procedure for deciding questions of liability for harms, including fees inflicted by the litigation itself. I'm going to skip a bunch of this. Okay.
Actually, while I read this, I'm going to go check on this one more time. So I'm going to just put you back on for just a moment.
Okay.
I'll be just a couple minutes. Thank you. Keep reading, though, because I can hear you.
The court must then find the facts and state its conclusions of law as provided in the rule, adjudicating these issues separate from and in advance of trial on Miss Lively's case would also further the policy rationales under the law by making the statute remedies available to Miss Lively, in quotes, at the earliest stage in the litigation. Miss Lively should not be delayed or required to prevail on the claims in her own case to obtain damages to which she is entitled under the law today. Moreover, quantifying the Section 47.1 damages will now further serve the statutory purpose and underlying public policy by deterring retaliatory litigation conduct that the Wayfarer parties continue to engage in, despite their claims being dismissed with prejudice. Thus, to the extent the court deems an evidentiary hearing appropriate, it should be prior to and separate from the jury trial in Miss Lively's affirmative case. That is fucking juicy. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm in the chat with you guys. Fuzz is asking, how do Wayfair explain the $30,000 payment? It's one of the exhibits. Oh, I know that one was really funny because the publicists are saying that we need $25,000 a month to do all of this like smear campaign stuff, that they're going to like do the astroturfing, and Jed and his team are working on everything, and that's going to cost $25,000. But then they were like, but we also have to deal with the issue of Swifties, because Swifties is such a big and scary community. So they tacked on another $5,000 a month. Because they're like, Jed is going to have to work extra hard. That's going to be another $5,000. Do you guys see what I mean? When like all the choices that they made just further enriched Melissa Nathan. Like she just completely hosed these guys. They fell for it, bro. She was like, hey, you guys are paranoid. Why don't I scare you about a bunch of stuff and make a bunch of money? The Junk Farm said, that's a real nice feminist podcast you got there. Be a shame if something happened to it. Yeah, man, I can't believe that he let it go that easily. I can't believe that he didn't see the outcome of starting this kind of fight and that he was going to lose everything that he built. It's kind of fucking sad. It's like mythological, you know? Like, what is it? Like Narcissus and the pond or what? Delicatessen said, smears are not that expensive in a billionaire's pocket. And that's true. Like $30,000 a month to, you know, tackle, you know, a smear campaign and also a bunch of Swifties is a lot of money to you and me, but it's not a lot of money to Steve Sarowitz. Cosmic Urgency wants to know if you watched The Man. Junk Farm says, it's Tag's entire business model. Baldoni joined a conspiracy already in progress and just pointed it at Lively. That is so interesting. This is one of the reasons why I think that that Melissa Nathan was super paranoid about the New York Times. Because Megan Twohey had already outed her. And so by the time that Melissa Nathan was starting this new smear campaign, you know, I think she felt like she was on thin ice. Are you back?
Yeah. Melissa Nathan was on thin ice? With who?
The Junk Farm said, it's Tag's entire business model, and Baldoni joined a conspiracy already in progress, and they just had to point it at Lively. It's true. They were like, listen, we have developed this wonderful smear campaign package.
Yeah, it's a product.
You can purchase this package, and we will just direct all of our smear campaign onto your victim. Whatever. You know, he's supposed to be the victim, right? Like, that's the publicist will be like, you're the victim. She's the aggressor, obviously.
Right. This is the way we get a hold of it or whatever.
Cosmic Urgency wants to know, did you watch The Man?
Oh, shit. I didn't watch The Man. Fuck. I didn't watch The Man.
What is The
I
Man?
had it all queued up, too.
Yeah.
It's so weird because it's 4 minutes, but as you can tell by me jumping off of camera, I've just had a crazy day all day and it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I will watch it. I fucking promise, dude. I've watched everything you've suggested so far. I'm obviously going to watch a 4-minute video.
Obviously, bro. I mean, you know how this goes.
I watched.
You recommend and we watch. That's
I watched
what happens.
all your good bad movies.
Sometimes we even review the movies and you're not even here. You know?
Yeah.
That's a big drag.
I watched all your good bad movies. I'll watch more good bad movies. Which, by the way, I don't think we have. We're completely. I guess we're watching Heat. We have to still settle on it. Eventually, we have to turn this into a poll or something. But we're watching Heat.
I want to watch Heat this weekend. I also want to watch. What is the cowboy one? What is it?
Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy. I want to watch that one.
Midnight Cowboy is.
Yep.
You know how many times I've seen it? No, you don't.
That's not really a double feature though, so those have to be
not.
on different days.
Yeah, Midnight Cowboy is like a perfect Sunday, early evening.
Well, then that's when we'll do
If
it.
you haven't seen A Midnight Cowboy, we're gonna watch it this weekend. If you watch it this weekend, we could all talk about it.
We can talk about it.
But we'll watch it this weekend because, I'm trying to get Angela caught up on all the movies that influenced me most, and Midnight Cowboy definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have really great film literacy for just a couple decades, but I haven't watched a lot of the really iconic ones that everybody's always referencing them. So I get what everybody's talking about, but I missed actually watching them. So
Dude, I was so fortunate to live in a place like Canada where we just want to go outside.
You're stuck inside.
We were movie fiends. We would watch 2 and 3 every night, nearly every night of the week. 2 and 3 movies. My dad would come back with stacks of 5, and they wouldn't sit around collecting late fees.
No.
We fucking watched that shit. It was back in the day when, I don't know if this happened in America, but in Canada when VHSs first hit, and then all the movie stores, the new movie stores started popping up. Well, back then...
That was the fucking best, bro.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was fucking, you had to join with a membership. In Canada, you had to pay a membership fee.
Oh.
It was like, some were 25, some were 50,
Really?
Stupid amounts of money. And then you get a membership card that allowed you in to use to their exclusive video collection.
Well,
of course,
that's
that
weird.
didn't last long.
It didn't last long, no.
No.
because Blockbuster showed up and was like, oh, what if we didn't do anything?
A bunch of people were like, we're making money on the movies, you fucking
right.
weirdos.
I loved the movie, the video store experience so much that it was like my dream to always work in one. And I did as a teenager. And I
Yeah.
still think it was really fucking rad.
For sure.
And that's why I have the great film literacy I have for 2 decades, because that's what was on the fucking shelves. I just watched everything. It was awesome. It was the best.
I had boredom. Boredom was my motivation.
Yep.
This case is getting amazing. I can't wait. I hope that it does go to trial because I think a trial is what she deserves. I believe she deserves a jury. And I think that she's probably going to push for that. I don't think they're going to file for summary judgment, but maybe they will. But it would be very weird to get, now the judge has, I believe the judge has a duty to the taxpayers to make sure that they're not getting burned.
Yeah.
So they can't just allow somebody to defend themselves when they have no defense.
Well, especially if they're doing shenanigans and it's a sham trial already, shaping up to be one.
And
they're going to try and prevent the taxpayers from having to pay for that.
And because
shit.
it's high profile, it's going to be an expensive case. So we'll see.
This is interesting. A scientist weighed in about the identity of the unnamed declaration.
Natalie Portman.
How'd you guess? Okay. A scientist said another thing against it being Liz Plank, her name doesn't fit in the area redacted for the name.
Why? What if it's written as Elizabeth?
Oh, Elizabeth Plank? I didn't think about that. Maybe it is.
Is it too long? Is that the problem?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Can't be too
I didn't
short,
try
'cause
and
Liz-
I wasn't doing this this cold hard detective work that a scientist is doing where you're matching characters. I didn't do that. That's awesome.
Oh man, Guilty Angels recommending Shriver's We Need to Talk About Kevin book and movie. Well, the movie didn't
I
do
have
it for
very
me.
strong feelings about this. I don't know whether it's fair for me to completely
Here's what I'll say.
take over this live
what I'll
with
say.
my very strong feelings
Let
about
me
it.
just interrupt you now and say We need to talk about Kevin should not be watched before it's read. Should not be watched before it's read.
I personally believe that that is the worst film adaptation of a book I have ever seen. And I've seen a bunch of them because I really love to read the book and watch the movie.
I've seen a lot worse, I think. But
for me, it's the worst.
I'm with you.
It is the best casting. I was the most excited about it because the casting is like
Tilda.
Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have been better casting.
Yeah.
Ever. And the cinematography is gorgeous. I don't know how they managed to completely deflate all of the tension from every single scene, and then the ending completely screwed up. So if you're interested in the property of We Need to Talk About Kevin, don't ruin it with the movie. Read it first. Read it. Go in blind if you can. Oh, it's such a good book. I don't know how they screwed it up.
Oh, I loved it so much.
I know. I understand that filmmaking is very hard, and I don't like to shit talk filmmakers. But I don't know what the fuck went on with that movie.
No,
that
I mean, look,
you
can look. It's okay if they're. You don't have to shit talk filmmakers to say that a film isn't good because films are bad. I mean, there are bad films. There are good films. There
especially
are bad
the
books,
ending. Like, do not spoil the ending with that movie. You got to read the book.
Not every book can be good. Not every book can be great.
If you're reading the book and you're picturing the ending they had in the movie, I just feel sorry for you. It's just like if you like, if you imprint that in your mind and that's what you're, strong feelings.
I do have strong feelings as well. I understand why people like the movie though. And if you have the ability to be able to suspend the experience that you get from the book, from the movie, between the two, which I've occasionally been able to do. But this book, there was too much sort of in the balance for there wasn't a lot of wiggle room between the two for it to be pulled off. The book was really it was like a real easy thing to fuck up.
The book was an incredible achievement.
Yeah. Where
they have I personally really love books that have the unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
This narrator is a specific type of person who's really, really, I feel like it's got to be just really difficult to write. And she nailed it. So she's definitely a really, really specific character. And almost none of that ended up on the screen. And I thought that was really weird because when you're reading the book, it does read like a movie. And so I was really excited for the adaptation, especially with the casting. But it just didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm. Nope. It didn't. Since we're talking about some movies, can I move on to my last two bits? Are we cool with that?
Yep,
absolutely. The last two bits I got for you today are, first I'm just going to play this video. Watch this video. There's no audio, so I'm not going to give you any audio.
Can we talk over it?
We can talk over it. But yeah, we can talk over it for sure. Okay.
You don't have it muted, by the way. The video. You're just not going to patch in the audio?
I'm not going to patch in the audio.
Is that the way you say it? Patch in? Did I say it right?
Sure. Yeah. Patch in is good. She's such a TV girl. Yeah. All right. Watch this video, dude. This is crazy. This is video that was presented to Congress of a Hellfire missile striking a UAP.
UAP? That's what they call UFOs now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So this is a military video of a UFO?
This is a military
video. And
video.
then they tried to hit it with a missile?
Watch this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right, watch this. So if you can't see, that's glowing that's something flying in our airspace being tracked. And watch this. This is the craziest video I have ever seen in my life. Nothing else would react. Look at this. That's a missile hitting. What? And look, it's spun around. There's some debris. Now they cut to this wider angle. And then, did you see it flipping there? So that was the end of its being hit by the Hellfire. And now it's just flying away.
Still traveling.
Like it was not bothered at all by this missile. We are in one of the strangest times we've ever known. Is that not the craziest shit you ever did see? That is a UAP. That is literally by definition, a UFO, an unidentified flying object that got shot with a missile.
I just think like my main thing is like, why are we like, why are we just like randomly firing missiles all over the place? Like is that something?
It wasn't random. They were. This was. This is like something that they don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you haven't identified it. You don't know what it is
because you're
just gonna like.
We're a patriarchy, Angela. We don't fucking ask questions.
How much does a Hellfire missile cost the American taxpayers? I wonder.
It's about the safety of Americans. That's why we're friends with Putin. It's obviously ridiculous, but
obviously it didn't do any good, right? So like that's just wasted money.
So we have this situation where we're like basically like the open conversation that's been going on for like 2 years that people are like, there's so much shit going on in the world that fucking UFOs have been confirmed as actually real.
Right. They're like just straight up talking about them, showing videos of them. They're like, we don't know what that is.
Don't know what it is. Traveling at ridiculous speeds, doing all these things that we've heard about for all these years.
You can't hurt it with a missile.
And you can't fucking hurt it with a missile, a Hellfire missile. It's called Hellfire. So it's just strangest time to be alive.
Yeah, the military branding department is actually pretty awesome. They usually come up with really fucking cool names. It's awful that they do that, but
NASA had a press conference recently.
Oh,
in the last few days, Rover found a rock that had iron and
a rock where?
On Mars.
On Mars.
The Mars rover.
What did it find? That's newsworthy? Yeah,
it's awesome. Let me find the I can't find it. I don't know why. Let me just tell you about it. Mars, they found that Rover found a rock, and in the rock are a couple of chemicals, one being iron and the other being something else. And science is saying this had to occur as a result of some microbial life eating through it and creating a discharge. So they're like, this is the very same process that we see here on Earth. If true, and it does appear as though it's going to be true, obviously they're loading this up on Rover, it's going to come to Earth. But
okay, they're bringing the microbial life forms from Mars to Earth.
I think so. Well, they're dead. They're fossilized.
Do they know that?
Well, you know, they probably just
I've seen
water.
movies
just
like this
they add
before.
a couple. Let's see what happens when we add water.
That is the premise of Gremlins. Now you have 400,000 gremlins. Congratulations, NASA.
So it looks idiots. Like today I learned that the United States government
life on Mars.
Has shot down UFOs. Because the one thing that has happened is, you know, for years and years and years, is conversations about how the U.S. government has shot down UFOs. It happened not so long ago over the Yukon, very recently, in fact, like a couple years ago, but they called it a Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah, right.
But the UFO community was like, yeah, fucking right. That's not what it was, and you know it. So there's a bunch of blah, blah, blah about that. And there was some forensics some internet forensics that helped support their case. But there was nothing hard, no real evidence that the United States government, who was called in to work with the Canadian Air Force to take down this balloon.
In the 21st century, we're using spy balloons? Anybody is?
Well, they still do use them, yes, because
really?
because they fly at really high altitudes. They're completely quiet and not detectable.
But like, even though we have like satellites and like all this other technology,
I mean, you can take it up with your congressman, okay?
I won't.
So, fucking Mars life on Mars, UFOs on Earth, and then the other news. The crazy news of today. It's just hard to. It's just like, what the fuck?
We are living in interesting times,
to say the least.
Somebody was online today was like, I feel like things are gonna get. I feel like this isn't gonna be good, is what they said. And another person showed up and was like, "Bro, when was the last time anything was fucking good?" Like,
here's my question though.
You just have to like buckle up and enjoy the ride. Like at this point, like everything's gonna be bad.
Here's my question though: if there were microbes on Mars, wouldn't there probably then be some kind of evidence of even more advanced life forms, or I call them advanced, but more evolved life forms? Like, theoretically, would it just be? Is it possible that it's just that's all it is? Is just?
Yes, I believe that for several millennia, that was the case on Earth. Was that there was just microbial life at first? I think
At first is my point.
at first, yeah.
It begins in the microbial. There's, by the way, the one fucking whatever life form, the first life form or whatever. They know when it happened. Apparently, they think.
Oh yeah, and on this planet, they're still discovering like caves that were that have like untouched like water, like little hidden lakes that are inside of like mountains and stuff that have like their entire ecosystem has evolved completely separately from the outside world, like no shared air even or water or anything. So like it's possible that they discover that sort of thing on Mars. I mean, they haven't really like, they're not drilling. I suppose they're doing like sonar or something to figure out if there's anything under the surface. I don't really know a lot about Mars. They're doing all of this like Mars exploration and everybody's trying to like, jerk off the tech bros about how we're going to fucking resettle Mars or something. And it's just such a fucking pipe dream. I just don't entertain any of it. But I am kind of interested in this, like, do we have life nearby? Like they think that maybe one of Jupiter's moons is capable of sustaining life. It's the one they named Europa. And apparently it is obviously it's very cold because it's all the way, so far from the sun.
Bring your parka.
Bring your parka.
I'm from Canada. I got this.
But, I don't think that, I personally don't think it's very plausible that we're the only planet in the entire universe or solar system that has life. I just feel like that's really arrogant to believe.
Yeah. Who just came out? Somebody just came out and said that. They were like, it seems unlikely. It was like some high profile actor. Cosmic Urgency is saying that he has not read, we need to talk about Kevin, but did watch the movie and loved the movie loved the movie.
Erase your mind.
No. Well, that's not
Enjoy
fair.
the book going in as fresh and new as possible.
What he said was it might be a bad adaptation, but it's not a bad movie. And I would say that I agree with that statement.
Okay, but still. That final scene, the end scene, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it wasn't, like just watching the movie, I was like, this isn't even believable. Like none of this would happen this way.
If you had seen the movie first, would you have bothered with the book?
No. The book is so rich. You're really going to be astonished by how exquisite the writing is. The way that she crafted this character. This narrator is like really like you judge her from the very beginning, but she is not. She's oblivious to your judgment of her, and she just carries on being a fucking total weirdo. It's just like it's delightful to read a narrator that's fucked up.
It was a few years ago when we read this, and it was one of our Halloween selections, basically one of our haunted eras or whatever.
What do you mean?
What'd you call it? What'd you call it the other day?
Spooky season.
Spooky season.
It is officially spooky season.
Yes,
by the way.
So as far as spooky season goes, we read this book for spooky season a few years back. It's super fitting.
It's always, ever since, has been one of my favorite books I've read. Absolutely
disturbing. But what's cool about her as a character, just there's been criticisms I've read of the writing that say that it's like unrealistic, that she's too articulate and too like.
Yes, but this is what's so perfect about it. This to me is
it's the character.
Yes, I know.
Perfect.
This isn't the same. It's kind of like a great double feature with Lolita, because in Lolita, a lot of people are misinterpreting Lolita, thinking that it's like a, that it somehow supports or defends pedos.
That's glorifying
PDF
the
files.
SA of young women.
Yeah, but you're missing the entire point if
young women,
you're interpreting.
There I am, young women. I said.
But if you're interpreting it that way, you're missing the entire point of the unreliable narrator was crafted so perfectly.
Yeah.
The reason why Lolita is such an excellent book by Nabokov is that the whole time this guy is stumbling headfirst into the most ghastly, self-destructive choices. You can't stop him. And it builds so much tension for the reader. You're like, oh God, why the fuck is he so fucked up? And the same thing is happening with Lionel Shriver's protagonist, which I can't remember the character's name. But she's perfect as the narrator. And I think that those two kind of go together in like the same sort of like category as like narrators that you're like, God, you're so fucked up. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? But they're oblivious to it. I love it. Anywho.
Guilty Angel said she was manning that little UFO. You know what's interesting about calling it a little UFO? It looks like a little UFO.
Oh, is it huge?
It got hit by a missile. I know. How little can you be if you get hit by a missile?
Man, that was crazy. So 3 pieces broke off. I wonder if they were able to recover them. Probably not if it was over the ocean. You see those 3 pieces? Or were those missile pieces? Maybe it didn't even... What if it wasn't even a dent?
This is what Michael Jackson meant when he was singing You Are Not Alone. This is what he was talking about.
That's what he was saying?
Yeah, he was talking about it because he, himself, alien. All the geniuses, aliens.
He phoned home.
Yeah, the rest of us, we're all organic earthlings. These other guys started as microbes. Look at them now.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Let me see if I have anything else.
Cosmic Urgency wants to know, have you guys read any books that made you sob?
Too many to count, probably. Yeah.
Dale's a good crier.
Listen, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want to read a book, it's very LGBTQ, but and very devastating in every way. But I cried like, whew, but A Little Life.
A Little Life?
Oh, yeah.
Did you in?
It's 700 and change pages. It fucking wrecked me. Just so many tears.
Yeah. That's a good
people
crier.
are like, it's so funny because like some people are critical of that book, saying it's a little over the top or whatever, trauma dumping or whatever. I didn't see any of that. I just rocked my world in every possible way. If I was like and I've cried. You know me by now how much I cry. I cry all the time.
You're a good crier. It's good for you.
I do a lot of crying.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, whatever. I'm a sensitive guy.
I recently read a compilation of letters by Rilke, and they compiled it in a book that they titled
While Grieving.
The Dark Interval.
Yeah.
And he specifically, it's a compilation of letters where he's consoling his friends and acquaintances about the recent passing of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And it's just so incredible the way that he's articulated things. I just really recommend it to anybody who's like trying to explore the topic of grief or, thinking about like the meaning of death within a life. Like he's really good at articulating how it's a facet of life that we are doing ourselves a disservice by not incorporating.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot about grief and death and dying, and I just feel like it's one of these things that I don't intend to have it like creep up on me unawares, like I want to know what this is and contend with it before I'm made to.
Well, I mean, you were grieving.
Yes, but I mean, just in general, I've always just been interested in like learning more about this topic because I feel like we're so separated from this very fundamental, like very grand experience of everybody's life, and it's painful to not be acquainted with it when you have to be, Yeah,
let me answer this question a little more thoroughly, if I may.
Yeah.
The kite runner, bawled my eyes out. Even though, well, I'm not going to spoil it. That book is fucking amazing. And that writer also wrote 1,000 Splendid Suns, another book that I cried my eyes out. The book I mentioned earlier, Cosmic Urgency, is called A Little Life, bawled my eyes out. Some great emotional moments that caused me just be a lonesome dove. And that's a long one. It's like 1,200 pages or some shit. But oh my God, that book is so epic and so beautiful. And yeah, there's some parts there that'll just yank the tears right out of you. So but the Kite Runner and 1,000 Splendid Suns will wreck you. A Little Life will make you so grateful for the life you've had. And the ultimate fucking, I was like hitching The Nightingale. The Nightingale. And let me tell you about The Nightingale for a minute. This is all I'm going to tell you about The Nightingale. One of the best books you'll ever read in your whole fucking life. It is so immersive and beautiful. It is a perfect book written by Kristen Hanna. Am I right about that?
Yes.
I read a bunch of her books. All very good. She's a fabulous writer. I fucking admire her entirely. And The Nightingale is one of my favorites of all time. And if you don't cry from that, man, fuck you, man. I'm kidding. We all have our the way we deal with our emotions. Anyway, I bawled. Like I went through tissues, snot, all of it. It was all there. The whole.
I love books, bro. Aren't they the best?
Yeah, they're the greatest thing ever. I can't believe I wrote one.
Oh, hey, there's a book that made me cry. You wrote it.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to hold it?
Yeah. I wrote this one, guys. Too Real a Hollywood Memoir. I don't know if anyone here who doesn't know that. If there's anyone here who doesn't know this, I wrote this book behind me. It's called Too Real a Hollywood Memoir, and it's available on Amazon, or you can get it at my website, which I am, by the way, changing as we speak. So I'm going to be uploading a new design. I mean, it's not really a big fucking deal, but just something cleaner, something nicer. You can buy the book there. This live is all about helping us kind of promote that, and hopefully, you never know how big this community gets. If this community grows, my ultimate dream, which I will disclose, I'll feather it in occasionally here and there with the folks that we're with, but my ultimate dream is that we make a movie here with these folks, and they help us decide which it is of the available movies, and yeah, I mean that's my ultimate dream. And then all of a sudden, this channel turns into not only just lives that we do, where we're talking about entertainment and so on and so forth, but also live from the set, and doing cool shit like that.
Hell yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that I'm, look, I mean, fuck, if you've read my book, I'm a big damn dreamer, and all my dreams have fallen short of expectations. And so
because you have big expectations.
Huge ones, big giant ones. Oh, fuck you, mosquito. You're mine.
You're going to
get
them.
Did you guys see anything up my nose? I forgot what I'm doing here. Anyway, The Whale. I haven't seen The Whale. Did you see The Whale?
No, we
didn't
should.
see The Whale. I'm going to see The Whale.
It's going on the list.
It's, what's his name, right?
Yeah. Brendan Fraser.
Aronofsky. It's like Brendan Fraser. It's like, that's where I was going.
What's his name?
Darren Aronofsky.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I need to see it. I will see it. Maybe I'll see that. Well, no, we got this weekend's already. I think we got lined up, right?
Oh yeah, well we could change it though. These
I'm
movies aren't going to go
Man.
anywhere.
When do what's it called? The Man. I got it queued up. I do have it queued up. I got to watch that by tomorrow. I had it all queued up ready to do it, and I was like, God, I got to do this or whatever, and then I did that. It was one of those days where, like right now, I've been trying to do this live, and I'm going back and forth doing shit. You know how it is.
Yeah, and then the crazy news today like completely derailed everything that I was doing.
That's true. Yeah, that was a fucking...
I lost like 3 hours.
Thanks for letting us not talk about that at any real length.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a terrible tragedy, but I don't want to live on it because of for so many different reasons.
So many reasons.
You guys are the absolute greatest. We will see you again tomorrow. I hope you guys had fun tonight. I did. I'm sorry that I was in and out, but I just had some business I had to take care of.
Yeah, that's cool.
You guys are the best. We'll see you again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye, guys.